Hey, I think we're live.
Oh, gee, I wish more women thought that about me.
On that note, let's do the thing and then we'll start talking afterwards.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good
Okay.
coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good, bad. I'm the guy with the mic.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to another episode of Padded Cell. For the moment, we have Ron and I. And I think my first question is, have you tried cinnamon churro coffee yet?
I have not, but that sounds
It tastes,
delightful.
it tastes better than I expected. I had found some at the store and I had to grab a carton and I brought it home and apparently now I'm drinking it before I go to bed. So tonight. So yeah, it's
Well,
that good.
I like cinnamon and I like churros, so I can imagine that would be a good combination.
Oh yeah,
This,
definitely
I suppose, as
recommend
an
it.
alternate to pumpkin spice, it'd certainly be worth trying.
I'm not saying that pumpkin spice is not a worthy thing to get. Personally, I'd rather have cinnamon coffee.
I had never actually tried pumpkin spice, and then I found out that it was like a basic bitch thing, that everybody was drinking them. It was a trendy thing to do. And I think it was maybe back in, I don't know, 2012-ish, 13, whatever. Uh, I was dating this one girl. We were living together, and she was a big fan of pumpkin spice lattes. And she's like, "Oh my God, you haven't tried? You have to try it." So we went to Starbucks, and she bought me one. And I'm game, but I didn't really know what to expect. And then I drank it, and I was like, "Wow, that's pretty fucking good." And I'm like, "Okay, I get it now." So I've been a fan. I don't consider myself a basic bitch, but I still like the pumpkin lattes.
Hi,
What's up, Tom?
Tom. You're welcome. Here. Okay. Anyway, and hi, Tom. The easiest way to make it at home is whatever your favorite coffee is, Folgers or whatever. You go ahead and set it up like you
Of course,
normally
it's
would.
Deadly Grounds. I
And
mean, what else would be our favorite
yeah,
coffee?
well, I'm waiting for my shipment to come in, and it's easier just to buy Folgers while I'm waiting for my shipment to come in. But when it
Here.
gets here, I get to try their salted caramel and their cinnamon chocolate because
Mm,
cinnamon is needed. So
cinnamon chocolate
those
sounds
are
good.
the next three.
Sounds good.
I'll find out because I haven't tried them yet because we're just going through the list here at the house. And get your like Colombian roast or whatever, the not the normal flavored one like the salted caramel or whatever. and then you set it up like you normally would in your coffee maker, and then you add a little bit of cinnamon spice, either in the K cup, or if you're making a pot, you want to add a little bit more, like a teaspoon or two. Oh, just sprinkled over the top, and then you brew it like normal.
Hmm.
Okay,
I like
you should be
double
fine.
chocolate lattes, or not lattes, frappes, double chocolate frappes.
Ooh, double chocolate frappes. I think dude, I got an 8-shot one time, but then again, that was like the hardest day of my life. I had not slept for like 2 days. Yeah, my kid's first heart doctor appointment at 2 months. I needed something to bolster me to get through the appointment. So, yeah, that was fun.
8 shots?
Yeah, Starbucks will let you get 8 shots in a cup and add chocolate to it.
I can
That is the
imagine your
only time
cold
in
one
my
was
life.
not thanking you later.
Well, I've only done it once in my life. Normally, I get 1 or 2 shots max on the maybe once a month, or 1 to every 2 or 3 months, I get coffee from Starbucks because it's not often. But that was one of those days where it's right across the street from the hospital, and I haven't exactly slept, and I'm like, I need something to make my brain be alive.
Well, you spent
Yeah,
most of
my
the day in
brain
the
was alive.
bathroom, then your brain probably didn't care.
No, I didn't have to because my body was just in that freeze mode. Everything was frozen
Mm. Yeah, I
because
couldn't do 8 shots like that. It would go right through me, man. I'd have a bathroom emergency pretty quickly.
I don't think I actually took time to even think about my body's functions until about 2 hours after the appointment, whenever my everything slowed down and I found out there was nothing major that needed to happen then. It was a thing that it's there, but it's not gonna kill her. The 3 defects will not do it, but it's not something we have to take care of, like, surgery-wise.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm doing myself harm by drinking all this caffeine throughout the day. And like, I've got some pre-workouts mixed with some electrolyte powder as well for the gym, which is what you usually see me drinking when I'm on here. And
Oh, yeah.
I drink all of that. I go work out at the gym. I get my heart rate up, and then like when I have to go to bed because I've got all this caffeine in my system, then I take melatonin to try to shut myself down. I'm wondering if I'm just like doing myself more harm than good by doing that like a constant routine. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
or maybe
it
my
would be
body's just
better.
used to it.
Your body can get used to it, but it's also better if you have, like, a cutoff time at a certain point of the day to cut off the caffeine. Because I don't normally drink coffee at this point of the night. I just got a new type of coffee, and I figured, "Hey, reviewing it on Padded Cell and talking with my friends about it would be a good thing."
Yeah.
That, and there's a color change cup that I thought was cool, and yes, I realize I'm a 38-year-old adult, but color change cups are cool.
It's like those color change T-shirts that they had back in the '80s that like Body
Uh-huh,
Glove put out, or what were they called, Hypercolor or something like that. So they
uh-huh.
change with your body heat, and kind of like that. I mean, I'm in my 50s. I'd still wear that shit if I had it. I don't think anybody makes it anymore.
My kid's birthday present, we found out that it glows in the dark. He took it
What,
outside to
Hypercolors?
go show his granny, and then he brought it back in, and my bedroom was, like, dark because I hadn't turned any lights on at all that day, and it was just brightly glowing, and I'm like, "Oh, wow, you have a glowing squid. That is so cool."
A squid?
Yeah, it's a Minecraft squid.
Uh, I don't know.
I
I don't
don't know
think
if you've
yours
ever
glows in the
seen
dark.
one of those.
I
Oh,
don't think
I
yours
brought
glows in
mine.
the
Mine doesn't.
dark.
Can you see her? it's an Ursula bear because, yes, she even smells like birthday cake.
Hmm.
I'm surprised it smells like birthday cake because I've had her for nearly a year. The Build-A-Bear thing.
So I submitted 2 parts of the epic poem. Wasn't sure if you'd read them yet.
Mhm.
What your thoughts were. If you'd read them, probably haven't.
I have not had time to read yours. I have not had time to read Piles. I've had time to read half of Lori's, and I want to finish Lori's. I want to finish Piles, and I know I'm going to love yours because I usually love your work. And that will, it's on my list of things to do. I had getting my kid to the ER and getting some groceries were the more important things yesterday. So,
Yeah, I ran into a snag with editing the 3rd part. I was hoping to try to get both of them done today, but then when I started reading through it, the 3rd part is in 2 separate parts. And so part 1 is like one part of the story, and then part 2 is sort of like an epilogue of the story. And part 1 has about 30 stanzas, but part 2 only has 11. And when I started reading through part 2, I realized not all of the story is being told, and I need to write more stanzas to tell the rest of the story. And when I
yeah.
started thinking about it, I'm like, because now I have to work within a certain rhyme scheme. And after writing prose for so long,
It's hard to get back in the
trying to
habit.
switch my brain into a poetry mode is proving rather difficult. And it's not even so much that I don't think I couldn't write the poetry, because I'm fairly certain I can once I get my brain thinking about it. But it's the fact that I hadn't thought about that part of the story, so I don't really have anything for it. So now I've actually got to devote some time to thinking about that part of the story I want to tell. And then once I figure out what the story is, then I have to figure out how can I say it in verse. And so
I know that
I
feeling.
still want to get it done and submit it before the book is published, but I don't know how long it's going to take because I hadn't thought about it.
I understand that because I wrote part of the story and then I went back and I realized I totally left out the part where how she tells her big sister how it happened. So I had to go back and write that in.
Yeah, I
And
glossed over the part of the story. So like it's complete. I could publish it the way it is right now and it would be fine. Nobody would probably care, but I would care because I know that there's more to it. And I have
you'll
to
have
think about
2
how I want to say it.
parts. And then we can put part 3 in because that's what Tish does. Her series is in multiple different anthologies. And I figure when she's finished writing it, she's going to make one entire book. At least that's what I'm hoping. I figure I'll ask later. Because I can't believe I haven't asked yet. But yeah.
Well,
So
I
you could
mean,
do
I
that.
would put all 3 parts of it into a collection myself, but I would want it to be a collection of poetry, not just it. I would want some other poems to go in it as well, and it would be all poetry. So there wouldn't be just
Yeah.
prose short stories like the
As
first book
long as you
was.
have 70 pages worth, Patty can publish it. That was her thing on that that's what she said to about making the poetry volumes. So I figure I'll pass that part along and you
Yeah, I
can just
don't
work
have
on it.
70 pages worth. I don't even know what happened to like a lot of the poetry that I wrote in college. And even
I don't
so,
know where mine is.
it
I only
probably
have bits and
sucked
pieces
anyway.
because
Best
I
I
took
got at
what I
song
had.
lyrics.
Song lyrics count.
I mean, if
You
I
do.
rewrite them as poetry and not so much a song lyrics, then they would probably count, but I don't think they would make very good poems.
Well, in one way, songs are poetry, so it could work, and then we could go from there. But I'm not saying you have to do it one way or another. I'm just giving ideas. And I definitely am looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to finally reading those. I'm looking forward to having time to read because a couple of my problems have been fixed. One of the big ones that is weighing on my mind, well, two of them, one will start being fixed and the other one will be fully fixed tomorrow. And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I don't know how to read. It's a lost art form for me. So that's why I listen to audiobooks. It's so much
Oh, I
easier.
read, I listen. I have audiobooks where I like it better when not one author, but one narrator reads it better than others. And I didn't know that that would be a thing until I got older.
Yeah, a
So
narrator can
listen.
definitely make or break an audiobook. I've come across that. Uh, I listened to a lot of the Jack Reacher books on Audible
Uh-huh.
by Lee Child, and they had one narrator whose name I can't remember, but uh, I don't know what the guy looks like. I only know the sound of his voice, but his voice is very distinct. It's very unique. So when I hear his voice, I recognize it immediately. And but they've had a couple different narrators for Jack Reacher books, and uh, Scott Brick, I think, being one of them. And I like Scott Brick's voice because it's deep. It's got good resonance. But this other guy, his voice sounds a little bit older. Uh, I don't know how old. Just has more of that timbre of somebody who's older, you know.
Mhm.
And because that was my first experience with Jack Reacher books, that is kind of how I equated Jack Reacher's voice to sound like until
Yeah.
they came out with the TV series on Amazon, because I don't view Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher at all. Completely wrong type character. But Alan Richson, perfect Jack Reacher. He's the
I
size, he's
agree.
the type, he's got the demeanor, he's the picturesque Jack Reacher, in my opinion. Before they actually
I
cast
agree.
Tom Cruise or Alan Richson for Jack Reacher, I would have actually voted for Brock Lesnar to take the part, because in my mind, that's what Jack Reacher looked like. He looked like Brock Lesnar. But Alan Richardson's good
Okay.
too.
So I I love it's like the Citizen of the Galaxy book and the Starship Troopers books. I like the version where they're read by the same guy, uh the not McLeod guy, but where they're read by this one guy that's really good at doing different voices, but now
Mhm.
they're re-putting out Starship Troopers with a new guy, and I'm not sure what I think about his voice yet. I'm not sure if I want to get the book and find out, but he's really good at other books, but I'm not sure if I see him as Rico.
Well, I haven't heard the Starship Troopers audiobook. I read the book a long, long time ago when I was in high school, and then I saw the movie when it came out, but I haven't read the book in forever. So I'm fairly certain that the book, differs from the movie somewhat. But
A
the
whole lot.
movie did a really good job with like political satire on the government and kind of being dark humor as well. Uh, and I don't think a lot of people got that from the book. So I think the movie
No,
does a better job of portraying that.
the book and the movie, it has the same characters. and a similar plot, okay? But the movie goes way in a different direction, and the person who did the movie did that on purpose because he used the ideas from the book and the general idea, but he changed a whole lot of the story. And you get bits of the original story in some of the animated movies, but nowhere do you get the original story completely.
Well, they made like 4 or 5 different Starship Trooper movies, sequels,
Yeah, they
and
did.
there was only one book, and I don't know if Heinlein ever conceived it to be a series itself or just as one
No,
standalone book.
he only wrote one book, and it's like with the search for Pankara and the Number of the Beast. His original idea was just to put out Number of the Beast because he wrote the book with 2 different ways of going, 2 different ideas, because it all changes after like chapter 18. And then years after he's been dead, they put out Search for Pankara, and it takes them in a totally different direction and with different places that they go and so on. And that's not the original story he wanted to put out. It's not a bad story, but I'm just not that big of a fan of it. So
It's
they
like Stephen King's books, all taking place in like the Stephen King verse, or they all pretty much take place in like the same universe, or maybe a multiverse of the same universe. It's kind of hard to say because there will be a lot of crossover between his books or a lot of Easter eggs that sort of tie the books in together.
Not sure if you guys can
And
hear me or not. I'm having some weird issues on my end.
what'd you say, Raz? We can't hear you. You're having some weird issues on your end.
Now I can hear you. How you guys doing?
we're good. We're just
Talking
randomly
shit.
talking about books and universe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that a lot of Stephen King's books take place in the same universe, and there will be a lot of tie-ins in between his books. Like Castle Rock is one of the big ones where a lot of stuff takes place in Castle Rock, and they pretty much all take place in Maine for the most part. But you get stuff like the Dark Tower, which is supposed to be its own kind of universe, but you still get some crossover with some of his other books. And I don't think that when Stephen King first started writing some of these books, that was his intention. And it's only something that he realized later on after the fact in his career that a lot of these books could be tied in together. So he started moving toward that to try to tie him in. I think that was something that happened later on that was never originally intended.
Actually, he started out intentionally doing that a lot earlier than people realize. Like, generally, he's also been creating his own pantheon for a very long time between dark gods, light gods, and neutral gods. And there's actually 2 distinct King universes. One of the main tells is whether the shop exists or not.
Like
The shop is one of the unifying factors. Several books have talked about the shop. One of the biggest the biggest ones are Firestarter, and what was the other one?
It's the newer one.
Oh, it's a newer one. They start off on the plane. All these kids get experimented on in this hospital. I can't think of the name of it right now. I'll remember. Yeah, I remember the name of it. I say newer, but that book's probably almost 10 years old by now.
Probably about 5.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff and connection points. There's books that are connected that people don't even realize they're connected also.
The Stand even
We were talking about The Stand.
has the shop in it.
Yeah, The Stand has the shop in it too. And The Stand is interesting because that's where the Walking Dude comes from. If you really pay attention to the Dark Tower series, The Man in Black, The Walking Dude. And also, I'm sorry, yeah.
I thought.
Go ahead.
I said thank you. I thought I was crazy.
No, and also the Tower series also is the interconnecting point between all of his books, because there are books in both universes that are connected through the Dark Tower.
Can you make us a map?
Oh, those
No.
maps actually already exist. There's a ton of them.
Yeah, you can go find the map.
Yep. I'm a constant reader, man. That's the fan club for King readers. Trust me, we discuss this stuff endlessly.
I don't read shit. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
how to read. I forgot how to read after I graduated college.
I actually I'd seen the movie In the Tall Grass, but I'd never read the short story that it was like the long short story that it was based on that King did with his son Joe. I just started reading it last night. I loved the movie, but like the book already, the short story's blowing me away.
The movie
And-
was weird because it sort of transcends a couple different time periods.
Yeah, it's very fucking interesting. But like so far, the story is really good as well.
Cool.
I might have to give that
Definitely
movie a
have to
watch
check that
again. It
out.
was kind of cool.
I'm gonna watch it again right after I finish the short story, so I kind of even see more of where it was coming from. So I remember liking the movie, like it was interesting. Like I didn't necessarily love it, but I enjoyed it. I'm hoping that after I finish reading this, it'll like make me appreciate the movie more.
Okay. Definitely gonna have to check that out. Okay. I already know the answer for Raz. I've written do all your stories connect in the same anywhere, Ron?
No.
No.
Only
Okay.
insofar as they were all conceived in my brain, but that's about it. I don't think so. I think because most of my stories are pretty straightforward, where I don't do a lot of world building for them. They're largely situational. So there's nothing to say that they couldn't all happen in the same universe, but there's no connecting point in each of the stories that puts them all together in the same universe. So I've never actually thought about that. Never thought about doing that.
I definitely
I
started off that way. The first thing I ever wrote as a kid, I started off that way.
Yeah, didn't really well, obviously read Raz's stuff and then I'm like, I'll just connect mine and then somehow I started using food brands or names of like coffee to name the places in my story. You've probably noticed. Don't know if you knew Ducale came from Wolverine's coffee.
That I didn't know.
Hugh Jackman has Ducale coffee. It's one of the flavors, and I really liked it. I'm like, you know what? I found out that it was a real last name in a real place. So I'm like, I can use that name. It's not going to mess with copyright.
So I'm in my rave shirt still. Like you guys can't really see it, but there are things drawn all over this white shirt. It was the after party for the homecoming at the dance yesterday. It was a rave glow party, and my God, man, I think most of the paint on my face is all washed off. But it was a very good time, and my body is not okay.
He has a sign on his back near his ass that says
Entrance with an arrow pointing down.
No, it's just a big
Oh, it's a big hole. Okay, yeah. I told people draw whatever you want on this shirt. I do not care. You're not going to get in trouble. Like it's whatever. And I think I ended up with over 30 dicks drawn on this shirt.
He got the entrance on him because of what he did to me.
Yeah, I wrote glory hole with an arrow pointing down on Michelle's lower back. Mine was a lot more creative. No, but we all had a really great time, man. My body was not good before the dance, and I was the DJ. I didn't have to do my managerial stuff. I was just the DJ. And Pyle brought the sound system that he uses for the OHA, so I was manning that. We got that together, and I did that part of things. And then also the Chainers crew came down. Kyle and his dad, and their whole crew, dude. They came down and they cooked for the dance. Their kids all got to come from Chainers and enjoy in the dance with us. It was our first ever like multi-haunt dance, kind of, because we had a couple haunters from a couple other different places that come and volunteer sometimes. In Brimstone, Was there that was there? Like a couple people from Brimstone were there.
Yeah, Brimstone and Chandler.
Yeah, so it was a really good time, man. It was a good community thing.
Oh, and by the way, hi Michelle.
She was out here in the car with me for a few minutes.
I'm fucking
Oh,
exhausted.
yeah, I just realized she was talking too, and I'm like, oh, I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
know she was
Yeah,
there,
we-
so I should say hi.
We chill in the car when we smoke outside now because it's getting colder and heated seats. So
I'm so
That
fucking
rocks.
exhausted.
yeah, it makes it
I had
easier.
to get out. And Tom Dog, I did have a question. When did you
What's
start out as on TV?
I started back in 1996.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've been doing this for about 28 years now.
Nice.
And what is the major difference between what you can do as a YouTuber and compared to as a TV broadcaster?
Advertising. That's
Yeah.
like the number. That's like the number one thing. When I was on cable access, the one of the biggest no-nos that we could not do on television was to advertise, even though, but I kind of figured out a loophole. So
Mhm.
I would have stuff on my table. This was back when I was in 2001 when I started Channel X back in 2001, and I would have all this stuff on over there, and it got people asking, "Where'd you get all that stuff?" I said, I just went to some random store, and they were like that. And I was like, oh, I'm plugging this, I'm plugging that, and everything. Like I would be able to plug this. I would make sure that the logo will be there if I'm drinking something. So as long as I didn't mention any prices, as long as I didn't
that
mention that, so it did work, and I did get some sponsors too. Later on, there was a nightclub that played country and western, and on every other slow day, which would always be on a Thursday, they would put it on the big screen. I know this because one day I went there because I threw in a tape, and I said, you know what, let's go hang out at Illusions. That was the name of the nightclub that we would hang out. And yeah, sure enough, they were putting it on the big screen and everything. So that was like, and so anybody who was there would get to watch that on a Thursday and watch it. So I did have an audience, and
Nice.
Cool.
so I was pretty much a celebrity in town. So this is back when I was living in Waterbury, Connecticut.
Okay.
I even did a couple fashion shows. Not just regular fashion shows where they would show off some new clothing and everything like that, but it was like lingerie, and so we kind of crossed the bridge and everything like that, and we pushed the envelope on certain things, but we got talking there.
You can only
So-
push an envelope so far before friction sets it on fire, man.
But let me tell you something. I push more envelopes than a letter carrier. So
There you go.
Have you decided
for
to
your
write
own
a
push,
biography?
I've been thinking about that.
Okay. Because that
And,
would be an interesting journey to see
It would.
from
It would.
broadcasting to YouTube with us and doing the different shows you do.
Yeah.
And the really odd thing is, for some odd reason, what random videos YouTube decides to pop up out of nowhere of you. Like, he's eating a cucumber. I didn't know he did a cucumber. What?
There was a reason behind that, and I was that was one of my rant times and everything. And I said, some people will just I was pretty much showing these big streamers that we small streamers can get things done too. So that's why if you notice on my thumbnails, you always see hashtag support small streamers. Yeah, I've been pushing that a lot. And
and many appreciate that.
Yeah. Because there's like a huge bubble bursting in between these large streamers lately, and yeah, I think this is like the time now for the small streamers to rise.
I agree.
I think I just came up with a name for my autobiography because I'll have to write it myself. It's going to be the absolutely, positively, totally real autobiography of Raz T. Slasher and Other Tall Tales.
There you go.
Sounds good.
I can take it from anybody, and I just
We're down.
no. That's not the name of his biography.
No, but
Mine is a biography and poetry, and it started with State of Mind.
Yeah. Nice.
Mine
It
would be
probably
called.
sounds insane as you read them. What would it be called?
Mine would be called. Damn it, Ron.
Mine would be either Pipe Dream or Dog Eat Dog, or This Dog Has Its Day. I haven't thought about that. Hello, kitty.
Who? Okay, gentleman and lady, who would you want to play you in a movie?
Jennifer Tilly is going to be Michelle's choice just because she loves Jennifer Tilly.
I'm not actually gonna do her today.
Oh, you know. All right. Yeah, that would be her choice just because she loves Jennifer Tilly.
Okay.
Got
What
the
about
tip.
you, lovely gentleman?
Tom Dog already kind of looks like Walter White, so. maybe
Oh yeah,
Brian
Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston.
That would be cool.
But the age is different though, because he's like older than me.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I bet.
I would
Because,
say
yeah,
I
you
would
would-
probably go. See, I'm really difficult. I would probably have to do the Howard Stern thing and play myself.
Private Parts, man. That was a great film.
That should have got nominated.
That was one of the movies that really made me. That and Broadcast News and WKRP Cincinnati are the things that got me into broadcasting.
Yeah. I wanted to go to broadcasting school, and there was a director that got arrested for embezzlement. The one that interviewed me. This dude wanted $5,000 up front and then $5,000 after. I said, I'll think about that. As soon as I got home, the next day he gets arrested for embezzlement. And I'm like,
dodge that bullet.
I'm like, okay, well, I just got my answer. The news made that answer for me.
How would play you guys? I don't know. I don't know for me. I'm still thinking about it.
Actually have no idea. Probably that one British chick from that weird space show. Why can I not remember?
That one British chick from that weird space show.
Oh my god. Like
Uh,
that. Sit down.
How many weird space shows have there been with British chicks?
See, Doctor Who.
Hold on. No, it's not Doctor Who. It has a character. One of the main characters was in an episode of Doctor Who as Santa.
Torchwood?
Yes, Santa.
Red
No,
Dwarf?
not
As Santa. Nick Frost.
Yeah, thank you. No, not Nick Frost.
Nick Frost is
Maybe
who was the most known
Yeah,
British
Nick
actor that played Santa. But that was an
Yeah.
actor.
No, it was Nick Frost. Hold on a second. That helps me narrow it down
You're good.
to
You said Santa, British. I'm thinking Doctor Who. Yeah, that was Nick Frost.
yeah, because
Nick Frost,
my
Simon
brain
Pegg, all
said
that good.
Nick Frost is a
it
female.
went to Simon Pegg, and I knew it wasn't Simon Pegg, and I'm like, and then I got their names mixed up because they're always together.
Yeah, usually. Oh, they both did
So-
Doctor Who also.
Who would she play though?
Yeah,
I'm trying to. She's
Hold
trying to
on,
figure out the
I'm-
name of this actress, and where she's got a breadcrumb trail we're trying to piece together.
Oh, okay.
because he gave me the name of the captain on the show, or at least one of the
It's
characters.
a space show that Nick Frost was in.
Okay.
That this chick's also from.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know who Nick Frost is.
I think I know which one you're talking about too.
Hyperdrive.
Okay.
Yeah, Hyperdrive was the name of the show.
Hyperdrive?
That's the only one I think it was. I think it had to have been
Okay.
Hyperdrive.
It was like 1 year.
It was like a 1-year TV show.
Miranda Hart.
Yep, Miranda Hart. That's got to be it.
I see. Yep.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
No idea
Yeah,
what
that's what
you're
you're
talking about.
talking about. I would think it would be Miranda Hart.
Yeah, I'm thinking it is too. Hold on
Oh,
a second.
Gertie.
Oh yeah.
She's from Call the Midwife.
Yeah, she's from Call the Midwife. Also.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If I chose anybody to play me, it makes no sense at all, but I choose her.
No, I can see it.
Yeah, I totally
I can
see
see
it.
it.
Hey, there's
I can see Nick Frost playing me.
Yeah.
That's an option to come in too.
After looking at like
What
he
actor
does
would
look a
play
little bit
him?
like me.
We're trying to figure out who would play us in a movie about our life.
Still can't figure out Raz.
Yeah, I can't figure out me yet. I'm working on it. Because everyone I can think of are like older, like well enough older than me that I'm not sure that it would work.
Mine is quite obvious. Morgan Freeman.
Yep, that's pretty obvious.
I can see it.
I've got it,
Actually-
babe. Ryan Reynolds.
Actually,
I thought about Ryan Reynolds, but no, I don't think he could pull me off.
with how many times people kept saying that I look like Jack Black, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't see you looking like Jack Black. I don't even see. I have not mixed.
You need
him
more
with
hair to
you
be
in
Jack Black.
anything.
Well, you remember when I had hair, right?
No,
Yeah, even when you had hair, it didn't mix because I've watched so many Jack Black things. You have any idea how many times Sophia has had me watch the Kung Fu Panda movies? So whenever I think
Well-
about Jack Black,
Me,
it does
Tenacious
not
D.
involve. Number 3 here is her
Well,
favorite.
for one thing, I don't think they were using the exact likeness of Jack Black for the panda.
No,
No.
not saying there was,
you could have fooled me.
but you know what I
Well,
mean.
I feel
I've
like
watched
you.
so many Jack Black movies with the children because he's in
Well,
so
yeah.
many children movies,
Well,
including
I don't
when
know
they had
why
a book of
either.
it. It's like, I made a movie of my book. Let's get it.
Okay, so back in 2004, after I got back from about a month of being on the road with Warner Trucking, I went to see the new Hellboy movie, and the guy who took my ticket basically said that I look like Mick Foley, the wrestler. My hair was longer, and I was, had kind of a scraggly, okay, kind of a scraggly goatee thing. But recently, just the past decade, people are like, "You look like Jack Black," and I'm like, "Actually, I'm older than Jack Black, so Jack Black looks like me."
Exactly.
Very nice.
And my dad has worked for Warner as well. Because I looked it up
Yeah.
and I'm like, that sounds
We employ
familiar. And I'm like,
rednecks, no experience required.
because I'm looking at, hey, we did have a hat from that and a jacket. Okay.
So
yeah.
I I just finished watching before I hopped in here and realized that there was a padded cell. I just finished watching the movie we're going to be watching tomorrow, talking about tomorrow, and figured I could use some of this. I have so
That
many
movie
questions.
was actually better than I expected. It played out like a normal
Comparatively,
British show. And like fine.
well, I was thinking, okay,
But
so
the sh-
spoilers, everybody. All I'm saying is that
all right.
with the music cues and the story beats, this movie was essentially a UK soap opera with a sentient killer scarecrow.
Whereas
Yeah,
I
I
was
tried to
thinking
tell
the
you that.
scarecrow was like taken over by the kid that they left behind. And I was wondering about all the shiny new appliances in a thing in a place that has been abandoned for more than 10 years.
Self-cleaning.
That is a question. Yes, I want that smell to make everything shiny and new. I'd use it on this place.
Leaves
I
only the
think
fresh scent of pine.
I figured mine out. If you
Okay.
would, they put a wig on him, give him my facial hair and glasses. I think Brendan Fraser.
There you go.
He's the kind guy with a great personality. He's a great character actor. He's played a lot of different things. He's got a hell of a range, and he's weird as fuck, which totally matches me. So I feel like he could play a good me.
Dude, speaking
Current.
of could play a good you, there was a TikToker that brought up a bard that was also a wrestler, and I'm like, I know that guy.
That's funny.
I was going to ask current Brendan Fraser or like mummy Brendan Fraser.
Current Brendan Fraser, because of everything he's been through in his real life, it puts him in a place to understand like the kind of human being that I
A
am.
lot
I
of things
think
you've been
so. Yeah, I feel like he would bring a really good performance to the role of me.
And he won an
I guess
Oscar.
I'm not. I guess I'm not familiar with what all he's been through. I guess I'm not. So
Oh man, it's a lot. He disappeared from acting for a very long time. Everybody knows that. It was a lot of the reasons why he disappeared for acting and like what happened throughout all that. So he was forced into a lot of sexual situations and other odd situations with directors and a lot of
One particular producer
and a producer.
who was on the board for the Golden Globes.
Yeah, he was on the board for the Golden Globes, which is why he won't have anything to do with the Golden Globes. And it kind of wrecked his life. The rest of his life fell apart. I believe his wife passed. Okay, there's a lot of other tragedies that happened, and he just disappeared from the public eye. And he invited this reporter to come in and like basically come to his ranch for a couple days and like live his life alongside of him and just talk to him. And it was the first time he was ever going to just tell everybody everything. And I mean, there was the addiction issues, the alcoholism, just a lot of different insane things. And this reporter actually published this whole giant, like, it was almost a small journal more so than it was an article. And right before he started to make his comeback to, acting and stuff again. But like, it's just a lot of heartbreak, a lot of fucked up shit. And he's a broken guy. Like mentally, he's a broken guy, and the fact that he's managed to stay this kind of a human being through everything he's been through it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
okay.
And I can definitely see him seeing you and be like, I get this guy. I can do this guy.
And for me, it's
It's
like
just
half Mummy and half Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Not Blast from the Past or Bedazzled.
No, actually, he's too naive in Blast from the Past. Although I love that movie, and Bedazzled is great, but I'd be smarter than that.
What about Monkey Bone?
Okay, yeah, Monkey Bone. Add Monkey Bone in there because he's an author in Monkey Bone, or he's a comic writer
Monkey
and
Bone is hilarious.
artist. But yeah,
Mhm.
that I love that movie. That might actually be my.
That one was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So not Doom Patrol.
Not so much Doom Patrol. The broken old man version of me now, maybe a little bit Doom Patrol. I make a good robot.
So, peoples, now that we've covered other random weird concepts, what color is math? What color is English? And what color is Spanish? Because it was posed that math is red and English is blue.
Spanish is definitely yellow.
Yeah.
How do you figure?
It just feels yellow to me.
And no, it's just green.
Yeah, science I'd say would be green. We didn't say science.
I know, but I'm
Sorry, she keeps getting off topic.
Or are we talking about
How
Trivial
much she can
Pursuit
add?
colors?
I'm okay with adding that because it makes sense.
Yeah.
It
Math,
was the thing that Slicker
I think
Mark
math is
added
green.
earlier to the conversation.
There's red. Math was always the red notebook and the red folder.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So I say math was always the red notebook and red folder. Spanish or your language class was always a yellow notebook or folder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, are we talking
Green or
about
purple.
dual subjects and not, how you feel the language? Maybe.
No, I'm talking about how you feel the languages
Oh,
compared to. It doesn't matter what folder you originally had. I'm just asking if you feel that it is that color, because you may feel that it is not yellow and it is orange, and you just feel that way.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why Spanish feels yellow, but it just feels yellow.
Amarillo.
Okay, great.
I'm going to go with
And-
Spanish is red because Spanish, the language, is very passionate. It's muy caliente, and
Fair enough.
anything they could be like ordering a hamburger and make it sound like a festival. I mean, have you
Yes.
seen any of the telenovelas?
Oh yes,
They may
many.
be horrible, but just the mi amigo, most ridiculous thing ever.
The resonance of the
It's
voice.
just, yeah, exactly. Whereas English, okay, so UK English would be blue. American English would be brown.
I'm not flushing it down.
In all honesty, for me, different dialects of English fill different shades of color. Because like Midwestern, close to where like a lot of these other people I've been watching on the TV show, like that Baron guy, it feels like it would be green. But over there in Omaha, it feels like it would be like that warm toasty bread brown. Because all the
Runzas?
pastry with the meat in it. Yeah,
Runzas.
it's like a toasty brown. Yeah, the Renzas. It feels like it would be like a toasty Renza brown, because it's like warm and welcoming places for me. And
I
then
would say
over
I
in
would like to.
Ohio, it is
Mhm.
glowing eyes red, like Mothman glowing eyes red.
I would say glowing green because what's in the water? From all the stories I've
know.
read and
Algae.
heard from you guys.
I would rather. The really funny thing is, I'd rather drink the water over there than where I'm originally from, because
Mhm.
we were near a nuclear plant and there were two-headed lizards and glowing frogs.
Yep.
Now, I will say that Canadian English would be red green.
There's a show. That
Yeah.
was insane.
See what I did
The
there?
surfboard. Yeah, I saw it. Would you make a surfboard out of a lawn table and use it?
A lawn
As long as I
table?
Lawn
have
table
enough
and duct
duct tape.
Yeah,
As
they
long as
made
I
it
have
out
enough
of a
duct
lawn
tape.
table. Those plastic round tables that everyone had? that and duct tape because they cut it to make it be surfboard shape.
No, I would not.
It's a classic show.
I'd do an ironing board.
That makes more sense. Yeah, I've seen the whole thing. It's like how I got started on the horror movie thing. My parents. British TV shows and horror. What a weird upbringing.
I mean, that's very similar to mine.
I would think that English is red because after you read it, it's red. I would think math would be blue because I failed calculus, so I blew it. And I would think
See, you're already
Spanish.
getting back into the poetry.
I would think Spanish is multicolored marble tile
Why?
because that's how they decorate.
Wow.
Alrighty.
Just get out of your system tonight.
It never gets out of the system. You're not getting the idea. It doesn't
Exactly.
leave. This is just how that snake oil salesman brain is set up. You either have the ranting snake oil salesman or you get the punny man.
So you get the guy from the original Pete's Dragon.
I remember.
I love that movie.
It's great.
Yeah, I think I like the original more than the other because I've
It's like
My
you can't
kid
go wrong
won
with Mickey Rooney.
Nope.
no, my kid won it and then she proceeded to watch it 12 times in 2 days.
I'm afraid to watch the remake.
I've seen the
haven't, but I
remake.
haven't watched
It's okay, but there's no musicals. And let's face it, the Elliot from the original is far more intriguing.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still have
So,
the full
okay,
lyrics to
speaking of musicals, have you guys seen The Producers?
No,
Yes.
I haven't.
Which do you like better? The original or when he himself remade it as a musical?
Well, you can't go wrong with Gene.
No, you can never go wrong with Gene. Whether it's a normal movie or one of his original adult films.
Okay.
So, but I like both. I like both of the producers.
I like
I'm
them equally.
only familiar with the original, though.
Oh, okay.
And that did have
I
musical
watched the
numbers.
original with my parents, and then I found it. Yeah, but one was completely more musical than the other because he like redid it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you have a favorite of his movies? Gene's, that is?
Oh, Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Blazing Saddles.
Young Frankenstein.
What about you, Tom? Frankenstein?
Young Frankenstein.
That's mine too.
Okay. What about you, Tom Dog?
I will always love for a Mel Brooks film. I will always love Spaceballs.
Gene
I will
wasn't in
too,
that
but I'm
movie.
asking about Gene Wilder.
Yeah, Gene Wilder.
Oh, Gene Wilder. Oh, okay. Well, in that
They
case,
coincide a lot. Yes.
Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles. I have not seen Hear No Evil, See No Evil.
Oh, I was about to mention that one. That one is brilliant. I love that one too.
Yes,
That would be my second.
Now, I have the distinct, because of HBO, I have the distinct pleasure of saying that I have seen Stir Crazy
That's a pretty
Hi,
and
new viewer.
right, and I can't remember what the other one was that came out around the same, not the same time, but it was one of those movies he did with. Why is my brain farting? The
I don't know.
comic
Mine
guy.
has been doing that a lot.
You know, he paired up with and See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and Stir Crazy.
Richard Pryor.
Mhm.
Yeah, Richard Pryor. It was another movie he did with
Yeah.
Richard Pryor. I can't remember the name of it.
There was a couple. Yeah. They were a great team up, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I always think about the story behind how Young Frankenstein got made, and it was Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks. You know, Gene Wilder had been working with Mel for a while, and he looks at Mel. He's like, "Hey, I want you to direct this movie I'm working on." He asked him a little bit about it, and he's like, "Well, it sounds like you got a really good idea. You know, I'll think about it." He's like, "No, there's no thinking about it. Like, you need to do this for me. I've been working for you. I've done favors for you. I want you to help me finish writing it, and you're going to direct it." He's like, all right. How much money you got?" And he gives him some like low ass number, which was an okay amount, you know, for the time. And Mel goes, "All right, I'm in. That's a start." And that was the whole conversation. And then literally when they were done Blazing Saddles, they started like doing a lot more, and then finally did Young Frankenstein.
I don't know. I like.
That is.
I really like Blazing Saddles. I probably like it more than Young Frankenstein, but Young Frankenstein is like such a classic though because
Yeah.
He wrote it and starred in it, you know, like it's one of those things.
that's a tough choice. What he also did, what was it, Haunted Honeymoon? What was that?
Oh,
With
that
Gilda
was a
Radner, I
good
think?
one. Yeah, that was a really good movie. I enjoyed that one quite a bit too. I need to go back and watch that. Tom
That was
DeLuise
more
was
like
in
a
that
murder
also, if I
mystery, I
recall
think.
correctly.
Yeah.
I have found so many people have seen Young Frankenstein that I wasn't expecting them all to get the joke. They were having such a hard problem with my epidural with Cassie because everything was just going wrong. And I just looked at him. I was having a contraction. I said, "Yeah, I'm Abby Normal." And to have everybody get the joke and realize that there's sometimes you can find people that are more like you than you expected in weird places.
That's true.
I have a confession to make. I've never seen
You
Young
have fishnet
Frankenstein.
stockings on.
I'm sorry.
You said you have a confession to make. I said you have
Yeah.
fishnet stockings on.
No,
No,
that'd be me.
Not today.
I've never seen Young Frankenstein,
That hurts
and
my
yet
heart.
I'm familiar with the jokes. So one can argue that that movie is in the zeitgeist.
Yeah,
One of those.
and we all recommend it though.
Yeah.
So
It's one
Rest
of
in
those.
peace,
Like,
Terry Garr.
yeah. It's one of those movies where, like, The Goonies, I've never seen.
Oh man, you're killing me, James. Goonies and Young Frankenstein. Jesus.
What can I say?
but I'm betting he has movies that he loves that we haven't seen that he's like, seriously, why?
I don't know. I think he would be hard pressed to find something that he loves that I haven't seen. But to be fair, that is like cinema is probably one of the largest obsessions of my entire life from childhood, and I watch everything all the time. So I'm a very odd person in that way.
I mean, I hold up the movie UHF to be the best movie that's come out in 1989. Point Break is a cinematic classic. As a matter of fact, we're watching the Riff Tracks live edition at my lament in a few weeks.
Nice.
Very
So-
awesome. I know that minus what we're doing with the Amityville stuff, which I'd seen a good chunk of what we did. Like normally, it's like, who's all seen this movie before? And I feel like half the time I'm the only one raising my hand, or I'm one of the only people raising my hand. It also tells me that I've watched way more crappy like movies intentionally than good movies, probably.
I can honestly say you and James have done more than I have. But then again, I had spent a very good chunk of amount of time where I had no TV,
Yeah.
and the local library was the only thing I had
But if
because
you
I
go
was in the
back,
middle of B-Dive.
if you go back to the normal episodes, though, there are a few that you were the only person other than me that had watched. Just like there's plenty that James was the only other person but me that had seen something. I need to make lists
Yeah.
for everybody I know, like lists of movies you have to see in your lifetime. Like that'd be weird as fuck, though. Because I put like the My Pet Monster movie on there.
We may need
Yeah.
to start a letterboxed
We should.
thing.
You know, we need a full entire Raz wheel.
No,
we need
God,
a
you don't
full
want to do
entire-
that.
Well,
I
we've
was
done the
thinking
Amityville.
to go through and find out what the top movies are for every decade back to the year that we were born, and then check off all of the ones that we've actually seen.
That'd be fun. That'd be a fun exercise, actually.
I guarantee you, a lot of those will not match what I consider to be, good movies that I liked.
They almost never do.
'Cause I was surprised that the movie Arachnophobia wasn't remembered very fondly. When it was released in 1990, I saw it twice in the theater. Second time, I drugged my sister to it. She was bored.
I'm not saying it's not a good movie. It gives me nightmares. Okay.
I'm saying that a lot of time has passed between when I first saw a movie and now that I wouldn't remember if I actually saw it until I sat down and start watching it again and go, oh yeah, I've seen this.
Do you guys know about the new Arachnophobia?
Yeah, they're remaking that.
Yeah.
Did you hear who might be in it?
John Goodman.
Yep, John Goodman reprising his
Oh,
role.
really?
Yeah.
Oh. So it's kind of a spiritual sequel. Maybe.
Kind of but his existence, I guess there might be some dialogue, like sort of a I've done this kind of thing before dialogue, maybe, or something like that. Like that this makes you feel. Yeah.
I just hope they don't kill his character.
They
He
should
was
have-
real funny in that movie.
They should have any one of the guys that have played Spider-Man to be in that movie because that would just be funny.
Yeah. It's like
Tobey Maguire.
there's two movies that came out with it, like this side character that just saved the day that always cracked me up, and it was obviously John Goodman and Arachnophobia, but it was the guy that played oh my God, I can't remember. He played he was the mailman in Cheers, and he was the guy that saves the day in the end of House 2.
John Ratzenberger.
Yeah. He comes in House 2, just the general handyman, and just fucking saves the day in the movie. I'm like, dude, yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
All right, I see a lot of spiders here. Here we go.
Rock
Yeah,
and roll.
there's the portal to another dimension over there. I'm not sure if you knew about that, but it's over here in the wall. Let me show you.
Yep, Screaming Void. That's your problem.
Yep. House 2 is still one of my favorites of all time.
Strangely enough, I saw the making of Arachnophobia, and it's a lot scarier than the actual movie.
Well, they use actual spiders, a spider wrangler, if
Yes.
you will. Whereas nowadays
Yes.
it would just be all CG. See, for instance, Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah, that's what.
Although I do love
That's why I'm afraid of this remake because they're gonna CGI the hell out of these spiders.
Have any of you seen Sting?
Yes. Yes.
That is fantastic. With
For
CGI,
like
yes.
But for like a serious horror about spiders, that actually, to me, is probably the best one since the original black and white tarantulas.
Yes.
This tarantulas
The only Sting I saw was the wrestler and the musician.
The wrestling musician.
Yes.
okay, but definitely watch the Spider movie, Sting. It's recent.
It's so good.
I have to check that out.
It's terrifying whole new generations of people about spiders that somehow we're not already terrified by spiders.
It's a pretty good family film too. They just bring them together.
Yeah, and kill them.
Night of the Arachnolepus.
Fucking Night of the Lepus, dude.
How about
Bunnies,
Eight-Legged Freaks?
booga booga booga.
Yeah, we talked about Eight-Legged Freaks a minute ago. That was pretty good. I love that one. It's funny as shit.
8-legged
Yeah.
lepus.
Strangely enough, I didn't have a problem with that movie. I really didn't. And I have a huge fear of spiders. Strangely enough, this movie didn't scare me.
It definitely made me want to try an ostrich burger.
Yeah, yep. I remember that scene.
Well,
What about-
I think Arachnophobia was meant to be pretty much, kind of a straight horror movie, but 8-legged Freaks
Yeah.
was supposed to be like horror comedy.
Yeah, even though Arachnophobia did have a slight comedic leading in places.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But there was another weird movie that came out at the same time as that, but it was about this family that were praying mantises that could turn human, like could be human
Yeah,
beings.
Meet the Feebles.
No, it wasn't Meet the Feebles. It was Meet the something. But Meet the Feebles was the Peter Jackson movie about the puppets.
Okay. Meet the
Meet the
Neighbors.
Deedles?
No, it wasn't Meet the Beatles. Very
I know
different
what
movie.
you're talking about. I've heard about it. It's very obscure.
It is super obscure, but it's a really good movie. Like it's funny and like silly. It almost has like a John Waters movie type vibe. It's hard to explain. I'll have to look that one up when I'm back on my computer again because man, it's worth mentioning.
Okay, I think my next question is, what is the one movie that you have loved so very passionately that you wish everybody would watch?
Oh. Can we do a top three, to be fair?
Okay, you can do a top 3.
Okay. Let's see.
Practical Magic, Killer Tongue, and dang it, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Okay.
Good one. I got to think of mine. I got two, but I got to come up with a third.
Oh, mine came instantly to my brain. I was just wondering if we were going in tandem or
No,
okay.
go ahead and answer.
All right.
His
So
first one is
sorry.
UHF, obviously.
well, I was going to say UHF, and then
As you do.
Yep. The MST3K episode of Pod People and Prey. I'm not making that up. I thought there would
Nope,
be more
it is
groaning.
perfectly fine. You got
I mean,
blinking.
I don't
Lots and
really
lots of
understand Prey, but I mean, that's your choice. That's your choice.
Yeah.
Movies that I absolutely love. I'm going to go with 16 Candles, Nightbreed, and Interstate 60. Those would be my movies.
What about you, Tom?
They're pretty much all riff tracks dubbed. Reefer Madness.
Which one? The original or the musical?
The original with the riff tracks dub.
Okay.
It has to be live. The riff tracks
Okay.
live.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
one's
So
hilarious.
There are like 3 riff tracks.
Yeah, I know. I got to think of like multiple. They actually did one for
Yeah.
the musical too.
I have to check that out. House of Wax with riff tracks live. And Jack the Giant Killer riff tracks live. Those three are so freaking hilarious.
Fun fact: my very first birthday lament, I made drug everybody to the theater, and we watched the Riff Track live edition of Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny.
Yeah. You just
One of them was unaware it was my birthday thing. And then, like, afterwards, we went to the pub and she was like, "Why the hell did you have us come over there?" And she was the type who were like, "Why watch bad movies when we could watch good movies?"
and defeats purpose.
Right. It's called Bad Movie Night. It's in the title.
Oh, yeah. Man, Riff Tracks.
I figured I just joined into the club. I'm like, okay, we can watch bad movies. Maybe somebody likes Killer Tongue in this group, and we'll go on.
It's a good one.
Hmm.
I was in love with her ever since Return of the Living Dead 3. So, I mean, anything with that particular actress in it, I'll watch it, especially Killer Tongue.
Dude, anybody that will watch all the Return of the Living Dead and the Living Dead movies without like telling me I am a horrible, horrible person, I want to
Send
be
more
friends.
paramedics.
Exactly.
Rest in peace, Tony Todd.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm really upset about that one. His previous agent, the one that retired during COVID, got a hold of me 45 minutes before it went public and let me know, kind of about it. I was fucking crushed. So then when it actually hit the public, man, then I started reposting it and stuff in different places. And I had gotten him to do a video for Fred when Hell's Dungeon opened. So I went and dug it back up and put it back in cast and crew and stuff. And that's Fred's favorite actor and horror character of like all time, like it was a tough time in the dungeon for sure.
He was a huge get whenever there was here in Connecticut, we have this every fall we have this horror convention. It's called the CT HorrorCon or CT Horror Fest. He's one of the popular gets alongside Doug Bradley. And he was always such an outstanding person in there. Everyone loved him when he was there, and he's been to that con many times, and yeah, so we're any fan of the CT horror, he was very popular alongside Doug Bradley.
So I just remembered the name of that Praying Mantis movie. It's Meet the Applegates. I'm 99.9% sure that's the name of it. Sorry, back to Tony Todd. My brain just exploded with the name. I had to throw it out there before.
That's okay.
So he was in everything, though. He probably did. I'm going to venture to say he was in more horror films than any like traditional like horror like star of all time, and not even just movies, but TV shows. As both just a normal everyday character and some weird shit. Like he played that. It was like a werewolf looking demon character in Angel, even like in the Angel and Buffy stuff. And he did a different character in Buffy. Like he fucking everything I love at some point in time. Tony Todd popped up in.
Wasn't he the mortician in the Final Destination movies?
Janitor.
Yes,
actually.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, still a mop-up job for either one.
Yeah,
but he was actually in. He co-starred in the Are You Scared 2?
Yep.
With a turtle. There's a turtle.
And the 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead.
Okay, yeah. And of course, you can't forget the Crow.
Yeah. But Candyman is still one of the best horror characters of all fucking time.
Oh, Candyman still gives me nightmares.
I hear they're they got a new one in the works. I really like that Legacy sequel thing they did a couple years ago because Tony was actually
Yeah.
in it as the Candyman. It showed him as being one of the Candyman, and it just
Yeah.
the whole myth and legend that they were true to everything Tony did, and Tony was very happy with it. And Clive Barker was very happy with it. Like everyone involved was happy as fuck with it, man. And it didn't get the
Yeah.
best ratings, which shocked the hell out of me because everyone who matters that was a part of that franchise felt that it honored them, and like that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Like
it.
even Jordan Peele's version
That's what I'm talking
was
about.
but yeah.
Yeah, that's the version I'm talking about. Like everybody, like as a whole, felt that they were honored. That was anywhere a part of this franchise. Like,
Yeah.
my only bummer though is that there's 2 movies now we will never officially get. It was the Candyman versus Hellraiser crossover that they just started talking about again, and it was gonna be Doug and Tony, and the sequel they were working on to My Name Is Bruce with Bruce Campbell because Tony was gonna be in it as Tony. It was going to be the Expendables of horror is what they were trying to do, and you got a lot. Kane Hodder was involved. There's a lot of people getting involved with it, and I mean, we may still see the movie, but it won't be the same movie without Tony.
Right. I just hope they don't go lazy with that and hologram him in there or like CGI him or some shit like that.
Oh man, we're talking. My Name Is Bruce is a very indie, low budget. They don't have the budget to fucking CG people in this.
Okay.
No.
Because the first one was about literally Bruce Campbell at a horror convention, and they thought he really could fight demons and creatures and shit, and he got suckered into it.
That was quite the interesting premise, though.
It was. It was very meta.
Oh, bean curd. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You may live.
I have found a couple of books where the author went totally meta and had the main character find him in real life and multiple different universes, and that I like the fun books like that.
I mean, it is also kind of meta. An argument can be made when the author of the novel is also the main character in the book. Like, for the longest time, Jason Peregrine, when he wrote under the name, David Wong, and then John dies at the end, because this supposed to be a journal about his life. That whole series was also the main character was David Wong. You got Darren Shan, who did it specifically with Cirque du Freak. There's a lot of authors that have done that, and that's type of meta.
Oh yeah.
When the hell does this happen in the movie? Now, sir, it's happening now. Right now?
Baseballs. Oh, you missed it.
But as writers, don't we always put a little bit of ourselves into the characters?
I mean, yeah, I do. A lot of
Yeah, I use my own blood to fill the inkjets in the printer.
That's another thing entirely. I was talking metaphorical.
I will say though, in my thesis novel for school, I am me as I am now is one of the main characters of the whole thing because I'm the interviewer going to different people and like finding all this information, uncovering this mystery about this haunted attraction. So like I legit put myself into it, and I put I'm inventing an episode of Tanner's Haunted Secrets that actually has Pyle and Jenny in it for one of the chapters.
It was old
I
man
can't
Withers
wait
all
to read
along.
It's what's
And
weird.
have you figured out which of the characters and any of the stories I've been reading is me?
Your parts of you are in a lot of different characters.
For
Yeah.
instance, your spleen is in this guy.
I would say you're probably in
Now
my
I'm just-
top 3 of people that I pull from for different characteristics to create characters after.
Thank
Not
you.
including myself,
I
you're
appreciate
my
that,
top 3.
because
Yeah.
I told Martha, I'm pretty sure Raz has killed me in this one scene. And she laughed, and I'm like, no, I'm serious. I'm pretty sure that's how he pictured me dying, and now I feel so loved.
Oh, by the way, I owe you a
But then
second
again,
box because I sent all that
you
for
want
you
me
and
to
Martha. I sent all that out for you and Martha and some like extra goodies, and realized I still have my grandma's 2 books sitting in the other room, and I saw it today, and I'm like, fuck. So tomorrow I'm sending another box.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Dude, Sonia's like, hey, I got the box. Tell him I said thank you. I'm like,
Oh, she got it already?
okay.
Oh, she got it already?
Yeah. I sent you a text and you said tell her you said thank you, but I'm like, oh wow. I didn't
Oh
expect you
yeah,
to
but
get
I
that quickly.
oh yeah, but I didn't remember. I didn't understand what she was saying. Thank you for. I guess because I was hot stuff. I remember the text, but I didn't remember that's what it was about. I'm sorry. But you didn't get yours yet?
Oh yeah, she was nope, I haven't got mine. I keep looking.
What the
It
fuck?
said I'm not supposed to get it till the 13th.
Then how'd you get hers so quick?
So I don't have an answer.
That's weird.
I just know she has Raz books and she was happy.
As long as you get them by your birthday. Otherwise, I'm like, me and the USPS are gonna have a long conversation.
Yeah, I hope I get them by my birthday.
Yeah, and then you'll have this other box for after your birthday. So there'll be more stuff in there too.
And I'm gonna be grateful, and I can't wait because my birthday is going to be probably the most interesting birthday ever. Because somehow I end up going back to Ohio, haunting things or cryptid things, because everything leads back to Ohio.
Most things weirdly do.
And then now I get to do the Ohio Haunters Association award thing, and I'm like, I didn't expect to get to be part of that other than being in the audience. And then Pyle's like, no, I need your help with this. And I'm like, oh, birthday!
Yeah. Give me a good time, man. I'm almost done with that video.
I'll tune in to
looking
watch it. But I'll probably just be in the audience because nobody gives a shit about me.
Bullshit.
Excuse me. Seriously. How many things do I'm like, Ron, come be a part of this? Have you
Nobody
not
cares
seen?
about me as a haunter.
I care about you as a haunter and a writer. And if I could, I'd chunk a hearing at you because you're being weird.
Yep.
I got to start working overtime on Ron and Matt about coming down for Christmas and Valentine's Day this year.
Yes.
I don't think I'm going down to Florida for Christmas this year because we're supposed to do a family vacation after New Year's. So I'll probably be up here for Christmas. So I would say that's possible.
We don't do it on Christmas. It's December 13th and 14th, and then February 14th and 15th.
But I'll definitely be back for February.
Yeah, we do it early December. Like
They're saying you have to find a Valentine.
Yeah, yep. This is true.
So, question for everybody: what do we have plans for the Thanksgiving season, if any?
Food coma.
Well, the only people I see family-wise that are mostly just live in the building. So, I think we might try and do a Friendsgiving. Otherwise, I'm just gonna watch the Thanksgiving movies, the new Thanksgiving horror movie, and of course, all of the Hunger Games movies. Because there's nothing better than watching people fight and murder each other over food while you're stuffing yourself full of Thanksgiving dinner.
Makes sense.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I go, my sister and her family are going to be in Nevada visiting our father. I'm not going for reasons, but that I won't go into here. And besides, after this year, I'm really considering just skipping the big holiday clusterfuck this year.
That's usually what I do.
Because
I'm having a small one at the house. I agree.
yeah, I mean they say it takes like maybe the first couple of years is the hardest after somebody dies.
Yeah.
But
So
Yesterday, my friend Brian invited me to his Friendsgiving on actual Thanksgiving, so probably go to that just to hang out,
Yeah,
watch a few things.
I prefer Friendsgivings.
me too.
I've
Actually,
had Thanksgivings where it was both the Thanksgiving and the Friendsgiving that just combined before too, and those were extra special. But like as I get older, less contact with most of my family, and just I'd rather see the people that I see all the time. The people that are always a part of my life. I guess.
2 questions. Should we have a padded cell as a backup, just in case? And have you ever heard of Tom Stranger?
Yes.
Yes.
Larry Correa story.
Yes,
Adventures of Tom Stranger. Interdimensional insurance salesman.
I
It's
love
good
you
stuff
more
right
now.
there. That is good shit right there.
I've listened to that whole series. He's got a couple books in it.
He's how many does he have in? Because he added more. Hold on a second. Yeah, he has 3 books in it. Or no, he has 2 of them. The 3 is when they're put together as an omnibus. Apparently, I have both of them all by themselves and the
The
omnibus.
third one
Okay,
was like
I
a
didn't know.
collection of short stories. I think that mostly revolved around the narwhal. What's his name?
You had me at Narwhal.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's
The narwhal is like a massive genius when it comes to accounting and mathematics and things like that, and he runs like a corporation, and he's incredibly rich, pretty much. And Adam Baldwin is the one that actually narrates the books, and my God, he's amazing at it.
I fucking love him
he
anyway,
not
just
only
in general.
narrates it, he wrote them as the president.
Right? Adam Baldwin actually plays the president in one of the in one of the dimensions.
It's fucking funny.
And
Nice.
I know, not being political at all, but what he does to Trump in the book is hilarious. That was hilarious.
I just want to point out that Mondo is what plants crave.
And there's also references to like Firefly and Chuck Norris, and
Oh yeah,
Chuck Norris is like the the litigator or something that goes in.
Yeah, he was the litigator.
Yeah.
So it's basically like Ready Player One, only good.
No,
love
it's not a
it.
video game though.
I love
Tom
that book.
Stranger is an insurance salesman that's been genetically engineered to be the perfect insurance salesman.
Rez is a bit frozen.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
It happens.
There is.
Speaking of Ready
There
Player
he is
One,
again.
did you guys know that there's going to be another Ready Player book?
Ready Player
No.
3.
No, it's gonna be Ready Player Zero. The show, like
What?
literally, like about how the whole world got there in the first fucking place. It actually looks pretty cool.
How they
Prequel.
corrupted Columbus and started building us upward.
The stacks, yeah. No, I love those books, man. Like, quite a bit, especially the first one.
What
I would
author
like to
was your
say,
parents obsessed with? You'd like to say what?
well, I was just going to say that if your idea of very tense shitting horror is one of the topics that a relative would bring up at the Thanksgiving table, see how I tied that in, definitely go watch Heretic. It's a very good movie.
That's a good movie.
Most of it is discourse on deconstructing faith, but it's very, very tense. The way it was shot works very, very well, and everybody was fantastic in there. Hugh Grant was just perfect, believe it or not, playing out of type. I would say that, short of actually resurrecting Vincent Price, he was the perfect guy to play that part.
Oh yeah.
So
I can't think of the last movie. Like I can think of some horror movies this year, like the last year or two, that I really enjoyed. But like I can't remember the last time like a movie really fucking got me. I mean, it's been a bit.
I just watched Smile 2 the other day,
I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen the first one yet.
and it's very curious because I think it really depicts the main character's descent into madness. The ending is somewhat predictable, and you kind of expect it to happen as you go through.
Yeah.
But all the while, you're rooting that maybe she will be the one to survive, and she will be the one to break the curse or whatever it is. I don't know if it's a curse or not, but the metaphysical spirit that's haunting her. You're hoping that she will be the one to break it. But the ending was really cool, and I like the way that they ended it.
Yeah.
What were you going to ask, Jenny?
You guys have probably noticed I have a couple authors that my brain keeps going back to, and that brought up the question: what author were your parents obsessed with that has translated into your adulthood?
My mom was an enormous Stephen King fan, like fucking enormous, and my dad really didn't read, so definitely Stephen King.
Okay.
Dean Koontz.
Yeah, I don't think that I serve the same interest that my parents did as far as like books that they read. My mom was into stuff like Edgar Cayce and Dr. Wayne Dyer, and my dad, I don't ever really recall him actually reading anything, but we listened to a lot of like Louis L'Amour books on tape when we were on road trips.
Nice.
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine and other Star Trek books for us.
Nice. I want to qualify my answer. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
Well, I want to qualify my answer. Dean Koontz was my mom's favorite, but my father, he read a lot, but I didn't really jive with a lot of the stuff that he read. My grandfather, though, my mother's father, my grandfather, I've more or less started digging into. He was big into the westerns like Zane Grey and Louis L'Amour, all that fun stuff. He would read a novel a night, and he once told me the secret of him doing that is essentially just reading the dialogue, which is odd, but I guess with westerns, I don't know. But I've started going through his old stash that we came across when we were going through the house, so I held on to those.
Oh yeah. I think there was some other. I was gonna say when my mom wasn't reading King, she would just pick up any horror novel at the library, and there was a couple. One was got into Christopher Pike at one point for quite a bit, and I remember there was this one Christopher Pike novel called, I think it was A Wicked Heart, that brought back like the secret girlfriend of Hitler or something like that, the spirit that was possessing people with a hammer, and basically a person would hitchhike and being possessed by this person, and that was their like serial killer instrument of choice, was like this old like metal ball peen hammer that they would murder people with. It was a really fucking weird book though. And then L.J. Smith, who later on obviously went to do like Secret Circle. Oh my god, what was the name of that vampire show that was really big on CW? No, it was on CW.
Angel.
Vampire Diaries.
No.
She ended up doing a lot of that stuff later on, but this is before none of us really knew who she was at the time. It was this trilogy about a board game that was coming to life. It was like everything you wanted Jumanji to be that it wasn't growing up, and it was all horror, and it was all centered around this fucking weird ass board game. And my mom read the first one, and she's like, "Holy shit!" And they had a couple copies, so me and my sister both read the first one together, and then we waited and got like we each requested this book so we could all all three like read like parts 2 and 3 together at the same time. And we would sit in the house and we'd have reading time where we read, okay, we're going to read this many chapters. And you weren't allowed to read ahead because this was the first time we had done this, the three of us. And it was like our own little book club that we kind of started that my brother didn't get into until later. And but that was the first time we did that. And the first one of the books was called The Chase. I can't remember the name of the trilogy like offhand, but if you ever get a chance to read those, and they're very angsty, they're very teen angsty, but they're super cool books.
That sounds really cool.
I'll look up the name of it when I get a chance, or maybe I'll hopefully remember it.
I think I'm
Okay.
probably gonna call it in about another 5
Highlight
to
and
10 minutes. We're getting almost to the 11 o'clock hour, so
okay. Highland and Star Trek novels mainly for me with my dad, and other random weird stuff like Stephen King and other stuff with my mom. Did your parents read Tom Dog?
My mom was more into Dean Koontz, like the romance novels. My father is not a reader. He sadly he's illiterate, and but yeah, he so yeah, not too many people would read in the around the house. I would read like sci-fi novels. One of my personal favorites is Area 51. That one I love. Love that one.
The Forbidden Game trilogy, I just remembered. Sorry.
Cool.
Raz's brain is running on delay tonight.
It is.
So is mine.
It happens.
But at least I remember it all. I mean, that's also like points for me because sometimes I just don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that I read when I was growing up, even from elementary on into high school, and not so much in college, because every freaking class required a reading list of all of this shit that you didn't really care about, and completely out of my interest of genres. But I read a lot of Heinlein. My favorite book of his, I would say, is probably The Door into Summer. I read Stranger in a Strange Land. I read Friday, and I did read Starship Troopers at one point, though. I don't recall the book as much as I do some of the other stories. I read a lot of Piers Anthony, the Magic Adept series, the Incarnations of Immortality series, some of the Xanth books, although I never made it through the entire freaking series, which was like 30 something of them. And one standalone book I remember of his was called Ghost, which I thought was really kind of cool. And I'd like to read that one again because I don't remember it as well as I would like, but I remembered liking it when I read it. I read some Ben Bova. Let's see, Orson Scott Card. I did read some of the books in the Ender's Game series, Ender's Game Speaker for the Dead. I read one recently called The Gate, which I thought was kind of an interesting premise for a story as well. I read a lot of L. Ron Hubbard with Final Blackout, Battlefield Earth, and I did read the entire Mission Earth decalogy, all 10 books, although I think that he died probably after the first book, so everything, post first book was ghost written, just based on notes that he had, and then when they ran out of notes, they started making up their own shit. So, but overall, the story holds together pretty well and ties back in to the beginning, although I think they probably took some liberties. I don't think Hubbard himself would have done had he been able to write the books himself. Some of it just gets kind of weird, but whatever. It was fun for me at the time. I don't think those will ever be made into movies. I can't possibly imagine that they would be successful if they were. And most people when you say, "Oh, I read L. Ron Hubbard," they immediately think Dianetics. And curiously enough, I never actually read Dianetics, and I know virtually nothing about Scientology other than that for Hubbard, Scientology was just supposed to be a philosophy and not a whole freaking religion. You know, he might have called himself a Scientologist, but I don't think that he meant it in the way that it eventually became, with people believing in like some alien god creature named Xenu and all that shit or whatever. I don't even know what Scientology is about because I'm pretty certain that it's been corrupted from what Hubbard had originally intended, because he was an anthropologist. You know, that's what his education and background was in. He wrote about societies, and you can kind of see that when you read Battlefield Earth, and when you read, you know, a lot of his other stories. He's writing about civilizations, and Dianetics is completely not that. So I don't think Scientology was what he intended it to be.
Yeah. I just had this really weird, vivid memory pop up into my head. There was an author named Bruce Richards in the early to mid '90s. He would do like weird like spin-off novelizations and like teen slasher horror. He did this series about Freddy called the Freddy Krueger Tales of Terror, and it was a whole series of books. And I remember like I found out they existed and freaked out and rented the entire series from the library. And it was like early fall. No, it was like mid fall. And it was like super cold. And I had a old school like heating register on my floor, and I would take a blanket and put it over like the heating register on the floor and like wrap myself in it and sit by the window. And I read that entire franchise like I think in like 2 nights, like or 2 full days and nights. It was on a weekend, and that's all I did. I did not move. Mom brought me shit to drink and and food, and I just stayed there, curled up in my blanket on the heater, just fucking reading these books.
When you said Bruce, I thought you were going to say Bruce Bethke, which was another cyberpunk writer. Well,
Yep.
I mean, he's written other things, but primarily known for cyberpunk. Bruce Bethke was also one of the screenwriters for the what was the Will Smith movie?
iRobot.
No, not iRobot.
Oh, I'm Legend. Oh, the West, Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West. Yeah, where with Will Smith. He was the screenwriter on that movie. And while he has publicly stated that he did not care much for the final product of the movie, he still got paid. So, whatever. But I got into Bruce Bethke because a book of his was recommended to me. Person thought I would like it because I was into computers at the time. The book is called Head Crash. And it's very cyberpunk a la William Gibson, but it's fucking hilarious. The whole book is it's crazy funny, and about virtual reality and dropping into virtual reality and playing games and having Second Life and all that kind of stuff. And if you haven't read Head Crash, put that on your list of things to read, because it's still, I think, pertinent today. Some of the terminology might be, outdated, but the virtual reality stuff is not. It's still pretty much common today.
Yeah.
Good one to read.
I mean, I read I read Neuromancer simply because
Neuromancer is good.
Yeah. Because my friend was heavily into industrial. So I believe my
read
mom.
Neuromancer, and then I got into some of William Gibson's other books, like Count Zero and other stories, because all of those stories, they all take place in basically the same universe, including Neuromancer. And Johnny Mnemonic was one of the short stories in Count Zero, or Burning Chrome, not Count Zero, Burning Chrome. So Johnny Mnemonic was one of the short stories in Burning Chrome, and then they just made that one into a movie. I would like to see them make Neuromancer into a movie, because it's a pretty good statement on civilization and politics and propaganda as well.
The computer and the main computer set that they called Heaven, and Johnny Mnemonic is still to this day the standard of the computer that I hope to have someday. What about another famous series called Tech Wars, written by William Shatner in the late 80s and early 90s?
That was into a series, and I actually have the computer game.
The books were better than the TV show, like by far. The show was fun, but the books were interesting. I'll give them that. The concept was really cool, but that's where I'll stop there.
I was going to say a few minutes ago, my mom got pretty heavily into J.D. Robb. I have no idea what kind of fiction she wrote. I was told it was kind of a detective series.
Yes.
Of some sort. And it's a pen name of somebody who normally wrote romance novels.
Nora Roberts.
Yep.
Nora Roberts.
Nora
Okay.
Roberts.
But
It's
she had
different
all
from
of the
all
books. Yeah. She had all of the books to the point where she would go into a bookstore and sometimes she would buy the same book over again because she couldn't remember if she had it or not. So the same thing with Kuntz.
I did that
I
with
mean, when
certain
they
books that I
started-
just loved. I'd want more copies of it so I could give it to other people, or I could have different editions of it. There's a couple books I definitely bought a lot of copies of at one point in my life.
To be fair, though,
only-
when they
Go ahead.
to be fair though, when they started reissuing Kuntz's books over the decades with the different art, it would confuse her a bit, thinking, "Do I really have this?" Because she had the old ones where it looked like just like those old, cartoon drawings where it was just like one unbroken line on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those. And back when Dean Koontz had the mustache, but then they'd start having more dynamic looking covers. She couldn't remember, is this a new one or have I read this before? And let's not get started with the all the stuff that they re-released under Dean Koontz's name that he previously wrote under the numerous aliases that he used to write for early on.
Yeah.
So
the only books by Dean Koontz that I really know about are the Odd Thomas series, and I did actually read all 9 of those. And that was primarily due to my ex-wife, because she read the first book, Odd Thomas, while we were married, and gave it to me. And then I read it, and I really liked it. But then when I got into Audible, and I saw that there were other Odd Thomas books out there, it sort of sent me down a rabbit hole of getting all of the Odd Thomas books.
Oh yeah.
Until I finally listened to all 9 of them.
I definitely had that rabbit hole myself, man. I read like the first 2 as they were coming out, then I kind of lost track of it, and the movie kind of reminded me that they existed. And
Exactly.
you can skip the movie, by the way.
No, you can't.
I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. The only reason why we didn't get more was because he died.
Well, we're going to have to agree to disagree, but
I thought the movie was great.
Yeah.
I think the movie would have been better had they been able to do the franchise, because there were some details out of the first book that they mentioned that they were leaving out intentionally to bring them into the second movie. So I feel like if we'd have seen the movie series as it was intended to be done, beyond
like
just the
Elvis?
first one, because let's be honest, man, there's some franchises, like if there'd only been one of, they'd have been utter garbage. But it took a couple movies to translate the books a little bit better in some cases. And I'm not saying it would have still stood up to the books, because that's just not possible. But I feel like the movie would have been better with sequels.
Here's the thing that throws me off about the movie, even though I love the movie. I thought the movie was really well done for what it was. But in all of the books, Odd is never really physically described in such a way that you can picture him. He's basically described as an everyman, not necessarily great looking, but not necessarily ugly. He's just average, And when you look at all of the book covers, they never show his face. So you can pretty much picture Odd Thomas to look however you want Odd Thomas to look. And you're probably right. But the movie kind of ruins that because now you're actually putting a face to the character by whichever actor that you choose. And to be fair, the person that they got to play Odd Thomas in the movie does pretty much look like how I expected Odd Thomas to look. So I don't really have a problem with that as as an issue. I thought that the movie was really well done because of that.
I read the series on up to about the time when he became a monk. I think that was the third.
Well, that's the second book, Brother Odd.
No, Brother Odd is the third one. The second one was the one where the town there's a flood.
Oh yeah, the flood.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you might be right.
It's been
I'll have to
a
go back.
while.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've read them. So, but I do recommend Phantoms and Lightning as the other Kuntz novels to try out if you haven't. Phantoms was an okay movie adaptation, but you know. So,
well,
everyone, I'm going to call it a night.
We're over 11 o'clock, so I'm going to call it there.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. Still
call it a
night
too.
I'm good too.
Mhm.
I just have one more question before you both leave. What book should be next on our TBR? If you could choose a book you've read, what would it be?
Oh, damn. There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, right.
Fantastic Land is definitely my current still absolute favorite book of the last, like, I don't know, 5 to 7 years.
Well,
Mike Bakoven, by the way.
Simply because of the goings on recently in this great country of ours, I would definitely recommend reading It Can't Happen Here.
That's a good one, actually. Yeah.
For something that was written in 1930s, it really still, you can see this happening right now too. It was supposed to be a satire, but somehow it's like the idiocracy of 1930s literature, satirical literature.
Okay.
I'll put in a bid for 2 different books. Well, 1 series and 1 book. The series, just because I like Drew Hayes as an author, and he's got multiple series. I would say really check out his Superpowered series, years 1 through 4. It's a complete storyline, definitive beginning, middle, and end. And I don't think that there's going to be any others, but there were a couple of spin-off books from it as well, which you can check out. But Drew Hayes is just an amazing author and plays D&D, writes about superheroes, writes about D&D type stuff, vampires and paranormal and all that kind of thing. So check out the Superpowered series, because I'd really like to see it made into a limited TV series for like Netflix or something like that. And it needs more visibility to make that happen. Another book that I would recommend, just because I think it's really good from the sheer uniqueness factor of it. My friend, colleague, co-worker Rami Unger has a book called The Pure World Comes, and it's a very unique idea for a plot. Takes place in the 1800s, around the same time as Jack the Ripper, though the story doesn't have anything to do with Jack the Ripper. It just takes place during that time frame. He did a lot of research for the story, and I really like the whole concept of it. And I'd like to see Rami become more successful as an author, as I'd like to see myself become more successful as an author. So this is me bumping another author who could also use the visibility.
Yes.
So
I
Rami
want all
Unger.
of us to be more famous. Thank you,
Julio.
gentlemen.
And also recommended reading. Read the Owlite Menagerie and the Nightmare Whiskers.
Yes.
So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, sir. Have a good night. Yeah, just
So-
read Light Menagerie because we're still trying to bump it for the pro literacy, and Nightmare Whiskers because it has my story in it that I really like and everybody should read it.
Yeah.
I mean, it has other stories in it too, but don't worry about those. Just read mine.
Oh yeah, there you go. So fun fact, we had an issue with a couple people breaking into our building recently, and while we were sitting here doing the show, I'm out here in the car. You can see my car. Well, you can't because I forgot I can't turn the camera around. I saw lights creeping up out of the same spot where the people that broke in came from, and I heard voices really loud, and I muted real quick, and I had to freeze myself to go message Michelle, and I heard the voices and people starting to walk up out of the woods, and then they saw the car and ran back down there, and they've been kind of going back and forth in the tree line, and you can see their lights. Like they're not even smart enough to turn their flashlights off, so that's kind of funny. But I just wanted to make sure that this was documented in case while I'm sitting here, you guys hear me scream at people and beat someone to death, on stream.
No worries.
I know where to send 911.
You do.
I can't find the 11 on my phone though.
It's okay. It's hiding. Yeah, someone told me you have to press 1 twice, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. There should be an 11 button.
Why would I do that? Pressing 11 is so much more efficient.
It is because this one goes to 11.
Right.
I think we ran them off for now, so I think we're okay at the moment. Yeah. That was just so funny, dude, because you could tell they were trying to creep up here, and I'm just like, nope.
Well, we'll hang out
Okay.
until they actually break in, and then we can stream it on all the social medias. And
There you go.
wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Breaking news at Hell's Dungeon in Dayton, Ohio. 3 kids were beaten to death. So,
A crazed manager beats 3 homeless people to death.
You guys get all the fun at Linden Avenue.
Yeah.
all right, I am out of here myself. I got to get ready for bed. So, y'all have a wonderful evening.
Have fun. Be safe. Come back alive.
Buenos nachos.
See ya.
Nacho sounds good. Dinner sounds good.
We had a taco bar at the dance last night. That's why Pylon is prepared.
That sounds awesome.
It was they make the best food ever.
Dude, that's what I was tempted on making. 3 different tacos. Things for tacos and just eating that for multiple days.
Hell yeah. I had a restaurant specialty burger I had today. I was going to tell you about Tom Dog. It was the T-Pain barbecue Buford from Rally for Checkers. It was really good, man. It had like cheddar, Swiss, bacon, crispy onions, and a special barbecue sauce with it was fucking delicious.
If only there was a Checkers in my area.
Checkers and Rallies. I love Checkers and Rallies.
We used to have a Checkers, but now it's it was remodeled into a enterprise rent-a-car.
Oh, because I could see that though, like the kiosk being inside, because those buildings are all that would be perfect.
It's no
But we
20 minutes
but
away.
we do have a Sonic, so that's good.
Man,
Hey,
What'd you say, Jim?
that peanut butter burger is still a hot review that I did.
Nope. You said peanut butter. I'm out.
Yeah. I was saying that Checkers is no longer 20 minutes away. It's now like 3 hours.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, the closest one is in Houston now. Where we live is still a very, very small town area.
Yeah, it's Rallies over here, but Checkers in other places.
Yeah, it's Checkers here in Texas.
It's good shit though. Sometimes there's a lot of crappy versions of it around town when employees just don't do their jobs. Like one time I went to one and like my burger wasn't even cooked all the way through. I ended up like swallowing a little bit of raw meat before I realized what the fuck was going on. I got sick and man, I fucking went back and gave them what for. I got quite a bit of free food after that for a while, but I used it at a different location that the franchise operator also had because I didn't want to eat at the same store.
I don't blame you because there are certain places that a couple of the restaurants here where it's better if you just don't do that. It's like I love Taco Bell, but the one like right next to the HEB in College Station, I always get an allergic reaction to their food, but I don't at like the one closer to where I am now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the difference is between the two restaurants.
Yeah. So I got a really awesome message the other day from my lovely friend Natalie. She does a lot of stuff over there with the Chilling Tales from Dark Nights and all their associated shows, the Creepy Pasta, etc. And Natalie was like, "Raz, like what? How you doing?" Because I hadn't talked to her for a little bit, and she's like, "I need another bio from you." And I know I've asked you for a bunch of them before, but this time I need one that's under 40 words. And I'm like, "Shit, okay." So I went, found my short one. I made it shorter, and I sent it to her. I was like, "By the way, what's going on? What's this for?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. Apparently they're going to be picking up Mr. Jones and You, and crap. No, I forget which one the other one was. Oh yeah, Rorschach and Tea Leaves." So I'm excited about that. I hadn't put anything out in a while. Like I guess recently I've been putting out a lot of stuff that I haven't sent them before. So I sent them a few things a while back.
Yeah, Martha heard and she's like, "Okay, I don't understand how to put it in my Raz folder. So when it gets put up, you have to put it in my Raz folder." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. It will go in the Raz folder and you can listen to them as many times as you want."
And I'll put it up like I always do. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'll put it up on my website like I do everything. Anytime anyone picks up anything, I always put it on a media place to kind of also promote for the people that are, taking care of me.
Yep, and I'll put it in the compendium and it'll be added to your page. It's just this last month has been very hard and I'm trying to get back into the habit of getting everything posted again. It's just so many things happened in October that I'm just like I had to choose the family over everything else.
We should be. You should always choose your family, and also, don't worry about like catching up with shit because we got the holidays are coming now, so that's its own level of stress and things for a lot of people.
Because but it's also been kind of good. I've been sent a bunch of really fun arts by so many great authors that I'm like, crap. But Sarah Wynn, it's like this really weird thing. I started trying to figure out this witch book with you, this witch story.
Yeah.
However long it's going to end up, the addition to Theodosia's story. And Sarah DeWin Maeve just like, here's 3 books. This will help you. And I'm like, thank you for doing all the research and just giving me it. I appreciate it.
I'm going to need your help. Probably starting tomorrow. Tomorrow I will have the completed first draft-ish of that kid's book. I'll have everything transcribed over. I just need to do some cleaning up of it, and then I've written alternate chapters for some chapters because like I like that chapter a lot, but what if it happened this way? Because my brain's been in a really weird place lately, and like it's weird writing an early reader like the kid's first chapter book because I wrote the picture book, and then now it's this one's like more ages 7 to 10.
Yeah, her age, and
yeah, so you got to write in a way that makes them feel like they're learning new words and challenging them a little bit without making it too hard, and you can't dumb it down to the point where you make them feel like you think they're stupid either. Like it's very particular for ages, so they tend to get their attention and make them feel like they're enjoying their journey, and that's it's taken a lot of research, more research actually than it took for the picture book, and the picture book took a surprising amount of research to do correctly.
Whereas she's like, she's gonna have my name, and Raz is writing me a horror storybook, and it's horror. I am the luckiest little girl ever,
And it takes place
and
right here in Riverside.
and she'll love that. And she's like, but you have to. Any of these 3 friends, and she sent me those. Hence why the 3 I sent you.
I was able to get 2 in, Zeke and Screech.
Okay. She's gonna love that.
When it's
I'll
it's a
get her.
pretty book, it's got a beginning and a clear ending with a creepy unease at the end. Like, is it really over? Like all those little good book, the good ones do that kind of hook you in a series. And
That sounds awesome.
and it takes place in the historic Harshman House, which is a real actual house. It's got a lot of history behind it and hauntings and a lot of things. The house still exists today.
Oh, that is awesome.
They were one of the founding families of Dayton, and because of them, we got a whole city named after them. Well, not whole city. They helped found Dayton, which then also helped found Riverside. But the Harshmans are like a huge part. There's like different branches of the Harshman family. They're also related to oh my god, what is his name? Jonathan Winters, the comedian.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of weird ties. A lot of weird ties.
That is understandable. I've been finding some very odd ties to random things lately. Like Bobby Hill, the lady who does his voice in King of the Hill, also does like my favorite fairy in the Tinkerbell movies. And I'm like, wait, what?
Lisa Simpson. Is it Lisa? I'm trying to remember if it's. I think it's Lisa, Nancy Cartwright. That's from here from Kettering, Ohio.
Okay. That is cool.
We got a lot of weird people. We got the Sheen family, the Estevez family, Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah.
Those are just the ones from this general area. There's a lot more than that, but like those are Paul Lawrence Dunbar, the famous poet. We got a lot of like famous people. And Ohio in general, we got a lot. We even got Marilyn Manson. Steven.
The random thing.
Go ahead.
Steven who?
Steven Spielberg.
Oh, cool. The random things I've been finding. It's like I've been going through a lot of weird ghosts books, and then the UFO books from like older authors like Hans Holzer. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, I didn't know that was there. And I'm like, ooh, that's right down the road from Raz. I cannot speak.
Mm-hmm.
And some other weird things in it. He even brought up things like from Loveland, Ohio, and other stuff. And I'm like, why does everything keep going back to that?
Because there's probably more like stories written about and movies filmed in or about Ohio than any other state or anywhere in the world, man. It's odd. It's very odd.
Oh yeah. It's somehow because originally my whole entire everything kept bringing me back to Chattanooga. Everything leads back to Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah,
it's like it's pulling me to another direction. And the odd thing is it's there. And I didn't expect it to be like pulled to there.
Oh yeah.
So at some point I'm gonna end up over there and I'm gonna figure, and whatever happens is just gonna lead me to the place I'm supposed to go there. Because I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in Dayton. I'm just not sure where. Because too many things keep coinciding back to both Dayton.
Yeah.
And the really funny thing about the mine is they had the Darwin trials there. And I got to go see the courthouse when I was younger where they were made. I don't know why that was like a suitable field trip, but I'm just like, okay, why not?
There's a lot of
And yeah.
to experience here, but also cool things to do and see.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying there's not great things to do.
It just depends on what you're into. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Ohio sucks. It's boring. There's nothing going on there." But I find the only people that say that shit don't actually actively go out around Ohio to find things, or their interests just aren't in the things you can really find around here.
If I can find 7 museums in Caldwell, Texas, I'm pretty sure I can find something interesting to do anywhere in Connecticut or Ohio. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
have Dog, I have Jody, and I have you and Ron and Pyle and all the other great hunters I've got to meet to lead me to the good places.
There's definitely a lot, man. There's a lot.
There's some fun things here in Southington. So
I've only been out that way one time. I went to New York when I was younger, and then taken Dell out to Terrificon that time. Like that's the only times I've been anywhere near out there.
yeah,
I keep wanting to go back. I mean, things are gorgeous out there.
I haven't been to Connecticut since the 90s. I can't tell you when in the 90s because I can't even remember it. I was so young. And that's not a slight. My dad was a truck driver. I got to see all types of places because he's like, you know what? It's summertime. You guys are coming with me.
That's cool.
and then AEW is going to be in Bridgeport, Connecticut this Wednesday for Dynamite.
Yeah, you got to see them while they can before they ruin the whole company and it goes under.
Yeah, I might go to that one. I'm not sure. I gotta check my funds.
I have not watched, still to this day, any actual match from AEW. And I support a lot of people over there. I don't know, man.
I haven't watched any since I left Flat Rock.
I'm just these days I'm primarily just a WWE guy.
Yeah.
So I don't have a ton of time to watch a lot of wrestling, but when I do, it's WWE. And with them coming to Netflix starting January 6th, I'm actually going to be able to watch the weekly shows and not just the pay-per-views.
Yeah. That's going to be really cool.
Oh yeah.
You gonna watch the boxing fight on Friday?
No.
You know what I'd wish they do? Like with Shark Week, you can buy the series.
Yeah.
I wish with all those matches that like pay-per-view and whatever, they'd just like let you buy them in a series. This year's series and this year's series, like they did with Shark Week.
Well, I mean, it's different because WWE, they either had WWE.com back in the day or their current deal with Peacock, which is all what's going to Netflix, that of their entire library, every episode of every show they did, whether it be an actual wrestling show or the cartoon they did for a while, Camp WWE, all the different shit they've done,
Yeah.
and all their pay-per-views, you have full access to go and watch everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling hasn't been on the network.
Yeah, it hasn't.
Since Hulk Hogan dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And with that whole that trial that he was in.
Yeah. Yeah, that was tough.
And I was so mad because I was so I was watching Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling, and then he word got out that that Gawker trial, and then all of a sudden it got taken off the network, and I was so mad because I was reliving that episode because that show was pretty cool.
I just wonder who thought it was a good idea to dub over the Undertaker's voice in Suburban Commando with the new child's voice.
Well, that was I guess that's what they were trying to go with, because it was a family, because they wanted it to be a like a family friendly thing. I mean, you wouldn't have the Undertaker just go,
You're a dead man, Ramsey.
That's kind of intimidating. So by changing the kids, having a kid dub over the voice, I mean, that's funny as hell.
It was
Yeah,
fun.
but it was because there were two versions of it that were changed from that. It was the high pitch, "You're a dead man, Ramsey," to the child's voice. And the one we'd seen most when we were younger was the high pitched one.
Yeah.
And then it got changed again. And we went back, and we've only been able to find the child's voice because we rebought rebought it as a digital copy recently.
You're a dead
And,
man, Ramsey.
Yeah, I like the original high pitched squeaky version, and I found out that Jim wouldn't believe us until we showed him. No, seriously, that is the Undertaker. Because I had like a 10-minute argument with him. I hate arguing with autistic people. ADHD and autism do not go well sometimes.
That is true.
It's like dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Well, the problem is we have OCD and ADHD. We have ADHD. We have this weird mix of ADHD and autism. Then we have two straight autistic people.
Yeah.
It's all chaos. We create our own chaos.
True.
Hence why Josh's nickname is Chaos, because he literally made chaos. You've met the three. Or at least you've heard about them. I don't know. Have you talked to the tiny people yet, Tom Dog? Because I know Dante has tried to give you a teddy bear through the TV once.
Yeah. About that.
No, I didn't see that one though.
Okay, well, it wasn't a video. You were talking on here, and then I found out that while we're in here, he had tried to give you a teddy bear through his uncle's TV when you were on the show with us, and I'm like, oh wow, that is horrible. So Dante says hi, and he loves you.
Hi.
And then Raz had gotten pictures from the kids.
Yes.
And they took the whole I like turtle things very very specifically, and the girls are like, no, I think he likes owls more. We're gonna send him owls.
Like
But I don't
really, I'll be back.
Say what?
So very shortly, I will be actually back on my computer.
Okay, cool.
I'm here until then, though. I'm just trying to get everything turned on.
Okay. What is your favorite animal, Tom Dog?
My favorite animal? The lion.
Yes. Okay, cool.
It's my
Lions
spirit
okay?
animal. Plus I'm a Leo, so that helps out too.
I'm a Scorpio.
But sadly, I was born on the year of the horse.
Here's the dog for me.
I am a tiger. Although Josh and Cassie was born on 24 years after he was born, so Cassie is the same animal Josh is. I just can't remember what it is at the moment. Let me find out. Dragon. They're both dragons. You and Sophia are the same animal, Tom Dog.
Oh yeah?
You're both horses, and she's the
Awesome.
middle. And then Dante's the youngest, and then Cassie's the oldest. And apparently Dante's a pig.
All right, I'm officially switching over.
Okay, see you in a minute. What? Okay.
Here I am.
I think I'm gonna have to kick you
Their
out of the
version of me is
studio.
still there. That's creepy. There's many versions of me.
That's
There
okay.
we
I
go.
just kicked you out.
Good. Fuck that guy.
I kicked you out so you could come in. Sounds great.
Okay, the snake is going to be next year.
Mhm.
And year of the horse is 2026.
Oh, brutal.
So that is going to be interesting.
Everything is odd.
Yes. I'm looking forward to Year of the Dog. Because
Okay. What's happening?
one year I when it was Year of the Dog, I did a whole year of Channel X Year of the Dog.
Okay.
That was pretty funny. I plan on doing that again.
That definitely sounds good. I have really no idea what type of chaos I would like to let loose later. But luckily, I could find out new as I go from my friends.
Yes. Yes.
What is your favorite restaurant where you live?
Favorite restaurant? There's a restaurant. It's called Wooden Tap. I love the food there. The food is so good there.
Okay. What about you, Raz?
It's a little pricey, but it's good.
What was the question?
What's your favorite restaurant there?
Oh, geez. Probably Spaghetti Warehouse, because you can actually eat on the old school trolley cars. And they do murder mystery dinners, which are amazing.
Oh, cool. Elijah's. That's the name of it. I think there's only like 2 or 3 of the actual Elijah restaurants, but I love the fish there.
Nice.
I love most any type of fish. Okay. I don't know. Somebody else pick a topic. I will probably find reasons to rant on about random TV shows and books.
Let's see.
Something up real quick.
I'm trying to think.
Okay. Have you ever walked through an antique store and found something that screamed your name?
All the time. I love really weird out of nowhere, like old pawn shops, antique stores, antique malls, like stuff like that. I'm really big into that. I get a lot of really cool ideas for stuff from that.
Yeah,
That is
I
awesome.
haven't been to many antique shops. They're really hard to come by over around here.
And I feel like that's what
Dude,
Happy Ohio is.
in Huntsville, the entire square is like one restaurant and a whole bunch of antique shops. Um, I don't know. I've just been trying to keep it from being dead air and just randomly ask things.
Sorry, I got back in here and I got a
Sorry.
million messages. The second I sat down, I was trying to catch up real quick.
Okay.
Let's see.
Um,
I'm looking up fun topics of conversation. I don't know. I find anything weird. Weird stuff.
Well, I think someone's talking about me because my ear is ringing.
Oh, if you were invisible for a day, what would you do?
If I was invisible for a day, what would I do?
the question is, if I was invisible for the day and I didn't have to be mom still, would I still have to do the duties I do here as a mom? Because if I could get it, if it was invisible for a day and I didn't have to be me for a day, that would be the question of the rules.
I would go to a place with a ton of people, like a theme park or something, and just randomly follow people, like do the whole people watch thing, just at a closer proximity, because just the conversations people have, the things people do in public. I get a lot of weird ideas for stories based on that kind of stuff, and plus, sometimes it's just fucking absolutely hilarious. I wouldn't like record it or anything creepy like that. I would just, experience humanity.
I'd like to go to a mall and do that, and just walk around
Malls
and
are
just
dead,
listen to
man.
people.
There's not enough people at malls anymore for me.
Oh, they're
These are my
freaking
favorite
ghost towns over here. They're actually turning one of the malls that's nearby where I live is actually going to be turning into a hospital.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's going to be a hospital in the mall, but there's still going to be some shops, but there's also going to be a hospital where the old where Sears used to be.
Okay. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. But to answer your question, if I were invisible for a day, what would I do? I would just get into so much mischief. I really would. I would just go in so much mischief and just like have things floating. There's even a place where there's where you can do axe throwing. I would just make them. I would just make like axes are flying into the. And then there's there's also an arcade nearby too. I would go and play some pinball and have it go by itself. And some video games. Just and there's also skee ball in there too. There's also skee ball in there too. I would do that as well. Just some really fun stuff. Just to like just to mess with people.
Oh yeah.
Make the most out of it.
You could pretend like you're haunting people.
Oh yeah.
Just go through and pretend you're haunting people.
Or even better, to make it even funnier. Walk into random stores playing the John Cena theme entrance theme.
That would be hilarious. I wonder how many people who would get it.
A lot. I was in Walmart not too long ago, and they have these Zambonis that clean that clean the floor and everything, and
yeah,
some of them do that by themselves. There's like driving on there. I took a picture of one of them one time, and I said, "Oh, look, John Cena's working at Walmart now." It made its rounds.
Yeah, I would.
Or I would even drive up and down the road and say, "Look, I'm a self-driving vehicle," you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. And I've lost a graphic.
And make it like it's talking. Michael.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
It is a taco.
No. I don't because I don't really call it a sandwich because it's technically folded bread.
I
It's a
agree with
hot-
Jenny.
you know.
It's a taco. If it's like a pouch, it's a taco.
Yeah. It's more in that category. It's more like a taco thing because you're technically folding the bread.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, there was
Speaking
this
of which,
diagram
speaking of hot dogs, what kind of bun do you prefer? Clamshell? Like on a hot dog, do you prefer the clamshell where it opens like this on one side, or the hot dog or the bun where it goes like this and you could toast it on both sides?
I like the one that opens from the top.
I do too, because I see what I do is I always buy that kind of hot dog bun, put it in the toaster oven or on the grill, and had that crispy, had that toasted. I like it like that. There's a restaurant here, fast food place called Frankie's. They had their buns like this, and they toast both sides of the bread of the bun, and it tastes a hell of a lot better that way. It really does.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Which brings me to another hot dog issue, since we're on the topic of hot dogs. Mustard or ketchup?
Both.
Yeah, generally a little bit of both, and a little bit of sweet relish.
I like
I'd have to go with
cheese.
relish.
Oh, the cheese
I like-
too. I feel like cheese.
I like a cheese sauce,
I just put cheese on it.
and either like a cheese sauce with a ketchup combo, or cheese with chili. It's got to be shredded cheese if it's chili.
What is your favorite type of cheese, though?
Sharp cheddar.
Havarti dill.
Actually, I like pepper jack. Pepper jack.
I wish I knew the correct ratio for Little Caesars cheese, but I generally just get both of the ones they have and mix it evenly.
What kind of cheese?
Little Caesars use Munster and mozzarella.
It's 2-part mozzarella, 1-part Munster.
Okay. Whereas I've just
Trust
been going half and half.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more mozzarella than Munster.
Pizza.
Thank you. Okay. I think I'll continue half and half.
But you're going to stick the Munster in the freezer before you try and shred it. It's such a soft cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, Munster's too soft.
Yeah,
Delicious.
that's what I had did earlier. I had wanted to try to make our own, like that Domino's stuffed crust cheesy bread.
Oh yeah.
So I told him we can just make it ourselves and see if what we think because Domino's is now in Beaumont and we find it saddening.
Yeah.
And we also told Mariah, well, we were joking with her. The commercial lied. You were supposed to come through the silverware drawer and have brookies with us. And yeah.
Okay, here's a good cheese question. When you go to the deli, do you prefer to have your cheese stacked after it's sliced or laid out?
I put parchment paper in between each slice.
Same.
And then put it in the bag, and then I hand the bag to the customer.
Yes. I used to work in a deli in my local grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loved the way I cut the cheese. And I would always lay it out. And customers would love that. And I said, you're the first. They were always there. I would get like customers that said, you're the first customer to ever lay that out. You're the first deli worker to slice my, to lay my cheese out. And I said, thank you. Sometimes they would give have me do a star where I would slap one and then slap another one, so it makes it look like a star. So I had all these tricks and everything like that. Sometimes I would just do it sloppy, so it would be even better. Because when they stack it, because to me, when they stack it up, it just looks, it's so difficult to peel sometimes.
Well, what you
Even
usually
if you
do
don't-
is you have two side-by-side slices on parchment. Then you put another piece of parchment down, two side by side.
Yeah.
So you're stacking, but but two, That way,
Yeah.
when you put it in the bag, it actually just slides right into the bag.
Yeah.
You make your cheese.
Sometimes I would just go I would have my cheese like this.
Mm-hmm.
I would have it like that sometimes, and so yeah. But it all depends on what kind of it all depends on what kind of cheese I would always cut. Like if it was like if I was slicing Munster, I would have to section it out. If it was American, it's optional. But if it was low sodium, the low sodium cheese is actually easy to peel apart. So you could just stack it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I always had a some really good tricks to it, and I was really good at it. And some of the managers would be like, "Oh, you take forever to do all that." I said, "No, I'm only doing what the customers want." And it's like, I got to it's like, I'm here to make the customers happy, not what you think is fast and slow. They didn't like my attitude. They didn't like that too much, but I didn't care.
I got a non-cheese question. If you punch yourself in the face and it hurts, does that mean you're weak or strong?
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah. If you punch yourself in the face and it hurts, are you weak or strong?
Well, that is an odd question because
It's very odd
I
question.
don't. If a 2-year-old
let's
can
find
break
out.
their dad's jaw and with just a play kid punch, break it in multiple pieces.
Yeah, I was too chicken.
I have hit myself in the face really hard, and I don't have an answer for that. I
Yeah.
can't judge my own strength on me. I have hit somebody so hard that they have done a backflip and landed on their face.
It's gonna put another.
It
I
was
found a
self.
list of like, yeah, I found a list
That
of
is a
just
very
really
good
random weird
question,
questions.
though.
Yeah. Okay. If you have described something as indescribable, haven't you already described it?
Yes,
Yes.
You described it as being indescribable.
exactly.
There's some weird ass ones in here.
That's like the same. That's like the same thing. If you haven't, if you never saw anything before, and you see it for the first time. I said I never saw that before. You already saw it.
Yeah. What about this one? This is a good one. Do you think that if anything is possible, that it's still possible for anything to be impossible?
It is possible.
Can you
for
repeat that?
something to be impossible.
Is it? If anything is possible, is it still possible for anything to be impossible?
No, because anything is possible, even the impossible.
But that's not quite what it's asking.
Yeah.
If anything is possible, like anything in existence could be a possibility, does that mean that something being impossible is also a possibility? That's a better way to phrase it.
That depends. When's are you going to? Is it still possible for you, gentlemen, to get pregnant at the moment?
No,
See that.
it's
So
not impossible any
therefore, that
longer.
is the answer.
Exactly.
That is the answer to your question.
Touche.
Do fish have a thirst for water?
Well, they do go glub glub.
The answer is yes, because they'll die if they don't.
Have you ever taken something out of your possession and then failed to return it?
Yes.
That's a yes for me too.
I don't know. I don't know that one.
Is it permissible for minors who act in R-rated films to see them?
Say what now?
Is it okay for children who act in R-rated films to see the movies that they were in?
As long as they're accompanied by an
Depends on the
adult.
parents. That all depends on their parents.
Exactly.
What hair color do you list on your driver's license if you're bald?
In a. Wait a second.
Yeah.
If you grow a beard, then you have to list your beard color.
To kill an elephant, how many chickens would be required?
To kill
It's
an
on this list. I
elephant.
don't know why, but it's on this list.
To kill an elephant, how many chickens are required?
I don't know. I haven't tried killing an elephant with chickens before.
Okay, here's kind of an interesting weird one. Is it possible that morality is derived from morons, just as electricity is derived from electrons?
That's a tough one.
That's it's odd.
That's a tough one.
Okay. Well, that depends. Does seeing a moron do stupid things or 7 according to AI on the chicken front, and and it all, as for the moron thing, it all depends on if the moron messing up makes you happy, or on if you learned from their mistakes and you didn't die.
Maybe that's not morality, though.
Yeah. Well, it depends on if it brings up the morale.
Yeah, yeah. So why
Shake
is it,
hands with danger.
why is it that lemon juice has artificial flavoring, but dishwashing liquid has real lemons? This one I don't get.
That's a
Because it's cheaper.
yeah.
Yep. That's probably honestly.
Because they have made it where the cheaper, more salt-ridden food is easier to get than fresh produce.
Have you ever been tempted to sleep inside the fridge?
Yes. Yes, I have.
I after watching that one episode of Punky Brewster, I vowed to never ever go inside a refrigerator.
Right? But then Indiana Jones taught me that I could survive a nuclear blast, so I really want to try it.
I love how they put an oath to that in Fallout.
What happened?
They put 2 odes to that in Fallout. One was where you found the scene laid out, and another one where you found a kid in the refrigerator.
Ooh, here's a super good one, and it falls under our show, being a padded cell mental health. Is it considered a hostage situation if a person with multiple personality disorder threatens to kill themselves?
Isn't that like assisted suicide?
It could be, depending on the personality and what their intention is.
Yeah. That is a good
Yes
one.
and no. Because it all depends on if the person understands that there are multiple personalities involved.
True. When Donald Duck gets out of the shower, why does he put a towel on when he normally doesn't even wear pants? He puts a towel around his waist.
Cartoon logic.
Personification?
Most of the animal cartoon characters always do that. Always seem to do that, like Bugs Bunny and Daffy and Donald and Porky Pig, Sylvester.
So this next question, while it is political, I'm ignoring the political side of it because the concept of the question is actually really hilarious. Would it be acceptable to say that the opposite of progress is Congress because the opposite of pro is con?
That's what it feels like.
Funny.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And then a very classic question. Why is it called taking a dump? Shouldn't it be leaving a dump instead?
I agree.
Rest in peace, George Carlin.
Okay. Why can't the professor on Gilligan's Island fix a hole in a boat if he can construct a radio out of a coconut?
Yes.
That would
That is
honestly be plot armor.
That still boggles the mind. That still boggles me to this day. Maybe maybe it's because of the fact that he was distracted by Ginger and Marianne.
Yep.
But all of a sudden, but it was Mrs. Howell that got to him.
Are we
love
really
that
living?
Mrs. Howell?
Are we really living or just slowly dying?
Slowly dying. I am afraid of death, so yeah. Slowly
I'm
dying.
not afraid of death. I just don't want it to be painful.
Why do you have to put your 2 cents in when it's really only a penny for your thoughts? Where does the extra penny go?
Leave a penny, take a penny.
Hey, that's not bad.
Because adding your thoughts in costs more than having them bought.
Okay.
In other words, inflation.
Why does rain drop but snow falls?
Good question. That
Yeah.
still, and I still say the egg came first.
Okay. Why does wet hair turn darker despite the fact the water is clear?
That's a good one.
There's like all kinds of like normalish questions. Like, I'm only picking the weird questions out of this list I sent you.
I appreciate that.
Let's see. Is it true that if you got into a cab and the driver drives backwards, he owes you money? Can you daydream at night?
Yes.
I've done that.
Which day was the kid born on if his leg came out at 11:59 p.m., but his head didn't come out until 12:01 a.m.?
On a leap year.
I would say the 12:01 a.m. day because that's when you fully get the kid. And then
I know.
Dante has decided to tell the whole world to kiss his butt when he was born.
Yep.
There you go.
He came out butt first.
Here's a fun one. You recently joined the Spice Girls. What spice name have you created for yourself?
Paprika.
Old Spice.
Um,
No, it has to have spice in the title. Like the Spice Girls, it's something spice. Like
Allspice.
you're All Spice. I'm Old Spice.
Underspice.
Under Spice.
I'm still waiting for that one rejected Spice Girl called Dispice.
Who actually decided what's right and what's wrong?
Good question.
Why do adults use the phrase "I slept like a baby" when babies wake up every few hours?
I've been wondering that for a very long time.
Well, here's this time of year ish. Why do we enjoy Halloween if our parents told us not to take candy from strangers?
Dude,
That is
the
true.
same thought process. Like when you get on a bus and you go to school.
If you can't drink and drive, why do you need a driver's license to buy alcohol? That's not true because you can just do it with an ID. That whoever wrote that one's kind of dumb. Yeah, that question doesn't make sense.
I'm actually gonna test that theory out. You know, when I get pulled over, I said, well, you know, I need a license to get, you know, to get alcohol. So and then I get sent to the to the psych ward.
SpongeBob's parents are both round like sea sponges. But why is he square like a kitchen sponge?
Um, because he is, I wouldn't say he's adopted. I'm thinking that maybe he that is a good question.
Why are they called apartments when they're all connected?
Because they are a part of a big building.
But they're apart. Like they're apart from each other. Apartment.
Mhm.
Why is the Lone Ranger nicknamed Lone when he's constantly accompanied by his Indian friend Tonto?
Good question. I haven't the faintest clue.
That is a good question.
If an orange is the color orange, why isn't a lemon called a yellow or a lime called a green?
Because the lemon came so far after the yellow was made because it's a man-made fruit. I don't have the faintest clue about the limes yet. I need to look up the history of that.
I'm still trying to figure out who put the lime in the coconut.
You find it strange that rearranging the word teacher gives you the word cheater.
No.
If your brain is encased inside your skull, how can you possibly have an open mind?
I don't know.
Doctors call what they do practice. Isn't that a little unnerving?
Extremely. But then again, look at what they just finally did with pads. They finally started testing them with blood.
Why do we call small candy bars fun size when it's clearly more fun to consume regular size candy bars?
Thank you. That's more like an Andy Rooney question. Why are these fun size? Where's the fun in these? Everybody likes a big candy bar, sometimes king size.
How would anyone ever know if a word was misspelled in the dictionary? When sheep brush against each other, do they get static cling?
Depends on the sheets.
Yeah.
When it involves the living body, why is it then called plastic surgery?
Because things are being added that are not human.
Also, I think it also derives from the word plasty, P-L-A-S-T-Y.
True. Plasty, and you're adding plastic.
Why do banks charge money for insufficient balances, even when they know for a fact there already isn't any money?
That's the same question I asked my bank once.
And what did they say?
They were like, I don't know.
Because when your check is finally deposited in, they take more of it back.
Yeah.
They make more that way.
Would you believe a person who told you they were a pathological liar?
What happened?
Would you believe a person who told you that they were a pathological liar?
Yes.
Okay. Is it required for atheists to swear on the Bible in court?
Yes.
That's odd to me. Very odd.
They don't care what your religion is. You just still have to swear on the Bible because it's a thing.
Where does it say that Humpty Dumpty is an egg in the actual nursery rhyme? That one just kind of got me a little bit.
I don't remember. I just remember people telling me that it was an egg, and then the what stories that are based on it, they assume it's an egg because the retellings are interesting.
Well, here's my take on Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. Why? Because the omelet would never have been made.
It's interesting because the original version of Humpty Dumpty was in let's see. I'm trying to find the actual date here. Humpty Dumpty was popularized by the United States on Broadway by actor George L. Fox in the pantomime musical Humpty Dumpty. The show ran from 1868 to 1869 with a total of 483 performances. As a character and literary allusion, Humpty Dumpty has appeared or been referred to in many works of literature and popular culture, particularly English author Lewis Carroll's 1871 book, Through the Looking Glass, in which he was described as an egg. That really doesn't answer my question at all.
Huh.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things about Humpty Dumpty. There's a version in let's see, Mother Goose's Melody, published in 1803. Is Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall? Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. 60 men and 60 more cannot place Humpty Dumpty as he was before. 1842, it was Humpty Dumpty lay in a beck with all his sinews around his neck. 40 doctors and 40 wrights couldn't put Humpty Dumpty to rights. It looks like issue of a children's magazine in 1843 where he comments that he had come across it as a riddle when he was 5 years old, and the answer was an egg. So, yeah, I guess it was transposed as a riddle at one point in time. That's where the egg thing came in. Huh.
Ripley's Believe It or Not thinks it's a
The
canon.
more you know. In the early to mid 90s, we had a dance about it. The Humpty Dance is your chance to do the hump.
In fact, there are many synonyms technically for synonym, like alike, apposite, coincident, convertible, correspondent, corresponding, equal, like, same, similar. So yeah, that was that. Whoever wrote that question just didn't know how to use the internet or thesaurus for that matter. If you're a conjoined ticket, you pay for a conjoined ticket, a conjoined twin. When you go to like a movie or a concert, do you have to pay for one ticket or two?
That depends on the conjoin. If it's one body with two heads, then I would consider you just get that one ticket. But if it's like where it could be easily separated, where it's like two bodies, then
okay, you're using two seats.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So okay, that makes sense. It depends on the seat.
Yeah.
Oh my god. If corn oil is made from corn and vegetable oil is made from vegetables, where does baby oil come from?
It comes from babies.
That baby jam story again that I love so much.
Or it could be that that liquid that comes out when after the baby's born, and then they just filter it out to make baby oil. I don't know what this is.
It's definitely not made of amniotic fluid.
It's okay. It is mineral oil. It's just at some point somebody decided it was perfect to put on babies.
Yep. It's made from baby minerals. Baby minerals. Why is bacon cooked, but cookies are baked?
Good question. Been wondering that for years.
I only got part of it.
Okay. I'll read it again for you. Why is bacon cooked, but cookies are baked?
Mm.
That was the question. Look, the naming there, I don't know. Cakin and bookies, I guess they would have had to have called it, and that one.
Yeah.
Those words are not as appealing. Okay, do you become a hater if you despise haters? And if so, will you despise yourself if you despise haters? That's a little convoluted.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
I got a good one. Okay. Why can't we put briefs in briefcases?
Many people do.
You can. You
In
can
two
put
different
both
ways.
types of briefs.
Yeah. Whether it's a written brief or a briefs as in underwear. I think you'll find that many business folks put both in their suitcases. Why does your nose run but your feet smell? Why is the word phonetic not spelled exactly as it sounds? That's a really good point. Let's see.
That's a good one.
Oh my god, I don't even know if I can pronounce this, but I'm going to try. Why is the word hippopotamonstrosisequipdialophobia such a long term if it means a fear of long words? That is fucked up.
Because they like to, honestly, I think it's being a jerk. It's like lisp and other words that are hard to spell when you have that problem.
How could the Wicked Witch of the West ever take a bath if she melts in water?
Good question.
Why do we park on driveways and drive on parkways?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Even though it's delivered by planes or trucks, why do we then refer to it as shipping?
I got a good one. Why is there flushable wipes if we can't flush them?
That's a good point. That is a very good point.
Andy, you want to take this one? I'm still trying to figure that out. It says flushable wipes. But on the other side of the package, it says "Do not flush." Why is that?
Where are you said to have a cold when your temperature rises?
That is true.
Let's see. I'm almost at the end of this list. There's a ton. There's hundreds more on this list. I'm just trying to find the weirdest ones. Let's see. What time was the world created? The fuck. That's I'm not even asking now, and I'm just reading. It's just me off guard.
I have to listen to the theme song to Big Bang Theory to get that answer.
Is it partly cloudy or partly sunny?
Depends on how optimistic you are.
True. How can something be both new and improved? What did it improve on if it was already new? That's a dumb question. Yeah, strike that. That one's a terrible question.
Here's a George Carlin question. Why is it a near miss why is it a near miss if you crash in an airplane?
You definitely didn't miss the ground.
No, you didn't. Okay, I found an answer to the shipping thing. When it started, the only way to transport it across the 3 seas was by a ship. And then as the world progressed and technology progressed, it just stuck. When it comes to shipping.
Yeah, that's the end of my list. There's a ton more of them in there. I just wanted to focus on the what I felt were some of the more odd options.
I'm just
Why
glad
is
that I
some
figured out how to
shrimp
make mouse
jumbo?
flavoring.
You were both talking at the same time. I have no
Oh,
idea
sorry.
what either of you said.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you start.
Okay. Why are some shrimp jumbo?
I don't know. Some shrimp's just bigger than other shrimp.
It's another George Carlin thing. Jumbo shrimp.
I'm just glad they haven't figured out how to make mouse flavored anything.
I got one. Why is blueberries purple?
Depends on the blueberry, the stage of ripeness.
Good question. What is the best place to go for a picnic?
The woods. Like a nice clearing in the woods, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Surrounded by nature, but you got your flat ground.
I don't want to go into the clearing in my backyard though. There's trap spiders there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could potentially have issues no matter where you go to have a picnic if you're not careful.
Oh yeah. Boy.
I think my brain is finally dying on itself.
Okay. Because the next
Well, it's
question that
12:30
keeps
here.
popping- It's 11:30
Yes.
here,
Yes.
and the only question that keeps popping in my head is, it's a question that only works if you've heard the story, and I don't know if Tom Dog has listened to your story, but who would you rather them be friends or fight when it comes to Mr. Jones and Pennywise? And I don't know why that just ruminates in my head.
Well, as it's demonstrated in Mr. Jones and You, there are things that Mr. Jones is afraid of. So Pennywise could defeat Mr. Jones. If that answers your question.
Okay.
Because Mr. Jones is as imperfect as the original human being that created him, which will be in another story.
Hmm. Okay. Weird places to run with that. Okay. There's always weird places to run with your story. Like Groundhog Day in the mental asylum.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it.
Yep, I get that.
Huh. Okay. Do we want to call it a show or do we want to figure out something to talk about?
I think I'm definitely done for the night. My brain is, like I said, finally just toast.
Okay.
But those were some really cool factoids.
Do you want people to find you? And if you very
I'm
true.
in. No, don't find me. Definitely do
Dog.
not find me everywhere on the internet in Nebraska/Slasher.com.
What about you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
And
just
will
like
there be
my brain farted.
Yeah, I'm like that's why I said, what about you? And will Mojo Jojo get to join us?
Mojo, yeah, I have to talk to him because an interesting topic, an interesting story came up over the weekend, and involved 40-something monkeys escaping a lab. So I have to talk to him to see if he had anything to do with it. So yeah, I was supposed to talk about it this past Thursday, but I completely forgot.
I didn't
And-
want to tell anybody that he could have been involved because that might lead them back to him. So I figured we'd keep quiet about it. Because it leads them
Nah,
back
but
to me. They might
he's always getting into some monkey business. So don't tell him I said that.
If they put
Because
him under into custody, then he'll be in custody, and they might not give him back.
yeah. But I still have to talk to him about it though, because because anything that involves like monkeys, it's always him in question. Like even there was one thing where when the monkeypox was happening, when the monkeypox outbreak came out, he was in total shock because he kind of had something to do with it. I don't know. So, but it was later revealed that he had no involvement in there. So it was all conspiracy propaganda.
Okay.
Yeah. But I am going to talk to him about the monkey, about the monkey business in South Carolina. Don't tell him I said that though. Anywho, and if you want to see that, check out at Tom Arcade 69 for Channel X, and Wrestling Prime this Saturday. We got a nice little review of the new WCW DLC that's coming out for 2K24, WWE 2K24. There's a WCW pack coming out this week, and Thursday's Channel X is going to be a special Friday episode because I'm going to be reviewing the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna do the show on Thursday. I'm gonna move that to Friday, just so that I can get that boxing match out of the way, because I was debating whether or not if I was going to put that on Wrestling Prime or on Channel X. So I figured boxing's not wrestling, put it on Channel X.
Sounds good.
Makes perfect sense.
If you want to find me, if you look behind me, you'll find a tombstone. Go look there. You'll find me there. Either way, good night, guys. Mwah! Thank you for being here.
Oh, and don't forget to face hug that subscribe button.
Yes.
Almost forgot.